It's probably nothing. It probably goes. It probably won't do it anymore. Allow. Look at my Discord. There are some active peeps in my Discord. What's going on, guys? Hello, hello. How am I feeling? I'm doing better. Oh, the mic is quiet. All right. Wait, the mic's quiet for you. YouTube? Sounds good on TikTok. YouTube, does anybody else have a problem hearing the mic? Hello, y'all. Hello. I'm gonna change it real quick a little bit. That's pretty high. How about that? There's probably a little bit of whining. I'm sorry about that. It was quiet at first. It's better. Okay. Sad for Biden and his family. Ah, man. Yeah, I know. What up, Tic Tac? Yellow.
Yep.
What's up?
How you doing,
Are
bro?
you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
All right. What do
Been
you
a
like?
Trump supporter since 2015, but I remember when he went down them steps. I've been supporting ever since then.
Yeah, ever since he called Obama Kenyan and leader of ISIS.
I don't believe everything he says.
Well, you don't have to believe it. You just have to know how offensive it is, right?
Hey, look, we need some mean people in the world.
Okay. Not that kind, like an ignorant kind of mean.
Hey, he's unconventional. That's what I like about him.
He's what?
He's unconventional. He's not a regular politician,
In the
and he
like
can't be
worst
bought.
ways. I would argue he's like the worst type of unconventional.
Look, buddy, let's get to policy.
Sure.
Um,
What's your favorite Trump policy?
Now, first, I want to speak on what just happened to Biden. This really proves how God really, that he wasn't a good person. This really proves that
You think God
God
favors the
works.
guy who's selling Trump Bibles for $60?
I can't do it no more. Lord Jesus, I'm a Christian. Lord Jesus, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. I was so sorry. I can't do it. I was trolling. I couldn't do it. The Christian side got to me. Kamala 2028. My fault, bro. My fault.
Get out of here. God damn it. Come on now. Come on now. Chat, tap the screen, guys. Let's get like 10K on the screen. I know. I feel bad for Biden. It's a sad day. U.S. demands no uranium enrichment over 1% in Iran. Dang, it's almost like we had a deal. We used to be in a in a nuclear deal with them that stopped them from doing this. It's almost like we had a deal before that did this, and Trump pulled us out of it. Damn it. Gee, dang it. Chad, if you're a Trump supporter and you want to debate, hop in the box. Come teach this beta boy cuck about politics. So Trump secures deal with 3 Middle Eastern nations in first chip of second term. Deal struck in the Middle East mark historic moments. Both U.S. and partners of the region. They've agreed to increasing their investments in U.S., similar to deals Trump has pushed for U.S. partners across the globe. Saudi Arabia, they invest $80 billion towards developing revolutionary technologies in both countries. Also take on major projects in Saudi Arabia, including the King Salman International Airport, the Vault of Qiddiya. Administration predicts the projects will generate about $2 billion in U.S. service exports. Okay. Additionally, several U.S. government departments will begin coordinating Saudi government ministries. Trump was also able to secure agreement that would allow U.S. to carry cargo between Saudi Arabia and third-party countries without stopping in the U.S., which the White House said is an important right for cargo hub operations. Qatar. Trump's deals with Qatar. This is... Okay, let's see what this says. Trump's deal with Qatar, arguably the most controversial of his trip, after both Republicans and Democrats criticized a plan for Doha to provide a jumbo jet that is expected to be used as Air Force One. Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders condemned this. While Sanders questions constitutionality of the administration accepting a Qatari jet, Cruz cited significant espionage and surveillance problems. Additionally, Senator Rick Scott and John Kennedy expressed their lack of trust in Doha. Rick Scott, the most evil man ever. Skeletor doesn't like this. Qatar is not, in my opinion, a great ally. I mean, they support Hamas. Is Trump just doing this to smite Netanyahu because they're not besties anymore? It sounds like very petty of him. The deals Trump secured his trip to Doha, Washington, participate in worth $1.2 trillion, according to the White House. In this addition to economic deals totaling $243 billion, which includes sale of American-made aircraft to Qatar. So we're going to sell them. Is it like defensive aircraft? Yeah. The White House touted a defense deal that will lock in Qatar's procurement of state-of-the-art military equipment. Are they going to be giving our state-of-the-art military equipment to Hamas? What's going on? The two countries also agreed multi-billion-dollar agreement to strengthen their security partnership. So sad about President Biden. I agree, guys. F's in the chat for President Biden. President Joe Biden's got colon cancer. Stop vaping. I don't vape. Trump left the UAE with $200 billion in commercial deals, including $14.5 billion committed from Etihad Airways to invest 28 American manufactured aircraft. Additionally, Emirates Global Aluminum is set to $4 billion in aluminum smelter project in Oklahoma. It'll be the first of new smelters built in the U.S. in 45 years, according to the White House. The UAE has also reached energy agreements in which Abu Dhabi National Oil Company will partner with ExxonMobil, Occidental Petroleum, and EOG Resources to expand oil and natural gas production. The White House said in a statement, the deal is expected to help lower energy costs, create hundreds of skilled jobs in both countries. The deals made during Trump's trip to Abu Dhabi are set to expedite the commitment the UAE made in March to a 10-year, $1.4 trillion investment framework in the U.S., which covered a range of industries, including energy and AI. It's good. What do you mean stop hitting that? I don't vape. Why are you saying I vape? I stopped vaping. I haven't had nicotine since January. Chat, tap the screen. Let's get to 20K. Look at you having... What the hell? Trump's doing a great job. We'll see if the lowering prescription thing works. It's funny how you called Kamala a communist and hated her for trying to do the same thing for y'all. Joe Biden did it too. Yeah, for those who say Trump is a god, is you're really not. You're never gonna beat the cult allegations, guys. Saying that kind of shit. What a bunch of babies. No misinformation, so MAGA should have to leave. I mean, $40 for kicks trying to make money off of Trump. Of course, yeah. Keep doing what you do. Will do, guys. Trump should be wearing a crown. You guys fell for the same thing anybody falls to, like the propaganda that people use to appoint authoritarians. For you guys to think Trump, a very controversial person, a horrible person morally to be a king, in like as the United States president too, it's just anti-American, it's cultish, it's weird. And then for y'all to say that we have TDS, I think y'all are ones with TDS, guys. I hate to break it to you. Dolphin, thank you so much for the gift. We elected a businessman. Yeah, and he's doing like a lot of weird business behind the scenes. You guys ever check out his meme coin? And who's donating to his meme coin? The guy's done nothing but rip people off when he's done business in the past. And you guys are like, you guys have TDS when we're calling out his open corruption that he's just doing as president. Wild. People made million on the meme coin. Hundreds of thousands of people lost their asses, and something like 69 people made money on that meme coin. Trump actually has 2028 merch, yeah. Oof. Yeah, I did. I did outlaw. 54? Yeah. Versus 764,000. Yeah. Ugh. The guy's openly accepting $500 million gifts from foreign countries, like controversial countries, who he openly. We have videos of Trump condemning Qatar because of their politics and their culture. He's like, why don't you give back all the money you made off Qatar? And then he's like, hey, by the way, I'm accepting this Qatari plane. What? What? Where's the fallout from the tariffs? It turns out that when you reverse the tariffs, the stock market does well again. That's pretty crazy, huh? It's like when Trump takes his dirty dick beaters off of the economy, it does well. We're still not back where we were, though. We'll meet you guys where we started when Biden left the stock market to Trump. When Biden handed over a bull market to Trump, it still hasn't gotten back to that spot. I heard somewhere that's going to cost us like $1 billion to repair it and get it suited for Air Force One. Biden's tariffs destroyed the stock market. Biden did not get millions from China. That was never proven. Trump paid millions to China in taxes, meaning he made way more than millions. Probably made hundreds of millions. $58 billion? I don't know about that. That sounds crazy. I think you could definitely build a plane for more than 58 billion. Were all 34 charges against Trump dropped today? They can't be dropped. No, it's fake. Gemini, thank you for the gifted. Chat, we are doing debates. If you want to debate, hop in the box. Come tell me why you like Trump. If you're lying, I'm lying. Oh, so you're just making things up. You see how we are skeptical? We look things up. It says potentially exceeding 1 billion. The repairs potentially exceed $1 billion. I did, yeah, Tanner. Play the Journey video. Dude. Oh my god. Mediocrities. I love that. Let me turn my TikTok chat back on. Socrates. Ugh, I have debate fatigue from you, bro. Yeah, he's gonna be keeping the plane privately. It's so good. It's it's uh it's not weird at all, guys. Hey, Hillary got to keep a $400 necklace. All right, so don't be a hypocrite, chat. She got to keep a $400 necklace. I know they don't come up. They scared. They scared. The blasphemy. I know. I don't even remember if she got to keep it. She had a server in the closet. Trump had actual. Sorry, I had to. All presidents get gifts. Not $400 million gifts. Did you guys imagine if Biden just was like, "What? I got $5 million from China as a gift. It was a gift. What? What are y'all, fake news?" Imagine if Biden did that. What? It's $5 million from Ukraine. It was a gift. He didn't get a gift in the open. It was still allegations. None of it was proven. Why do you think Biden has money? He wrote a book. He made like $11 million off of his book that he and his wife did. Multiple books, I think. Bestsellers. When you're vice president, like along with one of the best presidents in history, it turns out you can sell books. She didn't keep the necklace? Yeah. You're okay with Hillary, not Trump? Yeah. Hillary didn't show any wrongdoing, and she deposed herself without pleading the fifth for like 12 hours. Biden got money from Ukraine. That was never proven either. It's pretty wild. Biden he never pardoned himself, did he? So they could still investigate Biden, but they're not? Huh. Almost like they just used it to get elected. Biden sent money to Ukraine, a lot of it. Yeah, because they're being invaded. Biden admitted to quid pro quo on live TV. Uh, so it wasn't for personal reasons, and it was also the will of the EU and the United States government for Ukraine to get rid of that corrupt prosecutor, Viktor Shokin. And guess where Viktor Shokin is now? He's in Russia. He was a Russian puppet. Trump hired his children directly into the White House. If you guys think that the president's son using his dad's name to get a job is horrible, then wait till you find out about Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Wait till you found out about his children, who he put in charge of the Middle East, who got $2 billion from the Saudis. All GOP does is project. That's all they do. The Department of Defense is getting the plane, not Trump, but Trump is going to be able to keep it. It's going to go to his presidential library afterwards, meaning it's going to be Trump's personal plane afterwards. That's a little different, right? A little different. Do you think that countries give away $400 million for no reason to singular people, especially countries in the Middle East who support T groups? Do you think they just do it for no reason because they think people are cool? They didn't find snow in the Trump White House. Actually, if you look up Trump's head doctor from the White House, his name was Ronnie Johnson. And Ronnie Johnson got his medical license taken away because he was being fast and loose with giving the Trump administration shrugs. Lots of uppers. Lots and lots and lots of uppers. And he was doing it against White House procedures. And he was also ordering the non-generic brands, which were like extra expensive. They were exploiting the White House pharmacy to get free drugs. Ronnie Jackson, that's right. Ronnie Jackson. Trump called him Ronnie Johnson. Guys, we still don't have a single Trump supporter that wants to debate. I'm going to turn on the phone number and see if anybody from YouTube wants to call in. YouTubers, if you want to call in, oh, we might have one. Never mind. Yeah, they're hiding. They're hiding in the chat. All right, my phone number is going to be turned on. If you guys want to call in, you're welcome to. The phone number is on the screen. So I got an OnlyFans? Not yet. Did I have a good weekend? I did. I hung out with my girlfriend, went to a friend's birthday party last night. It's fun. MAGA, if you're on YouTube and you want to debate, call the phone number. I will debate you. Everyone's having trouble getting people up. Probably has something to do with that record low approval rating Trump has. It's kind of hard to defend him right now. It's about to be a rough 4 years for liberal content creators. It's about to be a fantastic 4 years for liberal content creators. You guys are destroying shit, and we get to cover it. And we get to rub it in your face, and you have to sit there and squirm and hate watch me and throw fits and make personal attacks towards me and feel outrage. Call me a beta, call me a cuck or a soy boy, make homophobic insults. It's just seeing you guys act out on your insecurities is enough for me to do this all day, every day. Still nobody calling in from YouTube either. It's insane. Kamala would be letting the tax breaks expire. Dude, how dumb and delusional are Trumpers? The tax breaks were going to expire no matter what, because we rewrite tax codes every 8 years. Trump is the one writing these things to expire, just like his new tax codes. Here we go. Hello, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what
Dark
do you like
MAGA
about Trump?
all day, baby. What are you going to debate about?
What do you like about Trump?
I mean, currently he's upholding some of the things he said he was going to do. I would like to get those deportations up. I would like to completely cut out Israel and Palestine from U.S. support. What was that?
So you want to see Trump get those numbers up to Biden level numbers?
Yeah, way more. It can be done.
Yeah.
What else?
He's almost there. Biden was like 20,000, 30,000 per month higher than Trump. He'll get there.
Yeah, but Biden wasn't pulling any kind of strings. He's not even in his right mind.
Sounds like he's doing better without breaking the law.
I think his son would disagree with you there. I think the whole Biden crime syndicate would disagree with that.
Which one has 34 felonies?
I think he has more than fucking Trump.
Yeah? Like what?
Well, I mean, by association, he's fucking caught up in trafficking. That's a global, national scale.
Trafficking who?
Children.
Where did you hear this?
It's all over the news. I mean,
all over the news.
His son has what they call a dead man switch. Do you know what that is?
No.
So it basically means he has, his legacy is trafficking and a cartel and a shadow bank contract, which colludes with all celebrities, everybody in Biden's Rolodex, they're all involved in this international smuggling ring and trafficking ring. And he has information which makes him, if he is threatened, he can release all that. You know what I mean?
I'm sure this is all 100% true and not a weird conspiracy.
I mean, yeah.
Good Lord.
By the way, man, what's your name again?
Pickles.
Pickles. Check it out, man. Your YouTube channel's going nowhere, and you're a beta cuck nigger, and you can go fuck yourself. How about that?
Well, I mean, it was definitely a Trump supporter. You could tell by the slurs and the weird conspiracies. That's all you guys, MAGA. That's all you guys. This guy called yesterday. Hello.
Hello.
Hello again.
Hey, how you been?
I've been okay, just talking to your friends.
Talking to my friend. Who's your friend?
I don't know, the last caller.
Oh, I don't know who the last caller
Aren't
was.
you the one that
Who
never
was that?
voted?
Huh?
Dog, why do you keep calling in? I told you I don't want to talk to people that have never voted.
I voted.
You voted?
I lied to you last night.
Dude, what?
I don't know what's going on.
How do I know you're not lying right now?
I'm telling the truth, man.
Dude,
Voted
please
for
stop
Trump.
calling. Please stop calling. Please. Holy cow, dude. Dude was definitely a plant. Oh, okay. Dude, you guys are coping so hard. Those are the people on your side. Those are the people you're next to in rallies. Where are these people coming from? These are people on YouTube. YouTube is insane. These are people calling the phone number. I have a phone number up on YouTube. These are the people on YouTube. If you go, guys, follow my YouTube. If TikTok ever goes away, that's where I'll be. I'll be doing this on YouTube. And the comments on YouTube, the chat on YouTube is absolutely wild. If you guys want to see an actual circus, you can always count on YouTube. How was that guy casually dropping the N-word, not a TOS violation? It seems like YouTube knows when it's a guest. Did I have fun at the birthday party? I did. I did. It was like a Victorian tea party. It was kind of cool. Like all the ladies there were dressed up in like old school Victorian like white glove outfits, and they were pouring. They had these like old tea things. They were filled with wine. They were pouring wine out of them. Little tea party. What's up, David?
Hey, I got a question. You still don't have health insurance, right?
Correct.
Do you think that we should let you qualify for Medicaid?
I don't know. Why?
Well, I'm just asking your opinion on it. I mean, don't you think? I
Are
mean,
you-
if you could qualify, would you want it?
Maybe.
Well, that you're able-bodied, right?
Sure.
Do you have kids?
No.
So you're an able-bodied individual with no kids, right? Mm-hmm. So what is Medicaid actually designed for, do you think? Is it for able-bodied individuals with no kids?
I don't know. I know that 20% of people on Medicaid, or 20% of all births happen under Medicaid.
Uh-huh. Those are kids, right?
Well, those are
But
grown women.
those are yeah, with kids.
Well, then kids, yeah.
Right. So, but in your case, being that you're able-bodied, right, without health insurance,
It's just for
and
people with
you,
low income. Yeah.
uh-huh. So if you have low income, which I assume you do, then you're saying you should get Medicaid,
I get, I,
or
I get. If I was doing it right now, maybe you'd have a case, but I'm not.
well, have you ever tried?
No.
Why not?
Uh, I don't know, but someone already paid to kick you, dude. You gotta come up with something better than my healthcare. Gotta come up with
It
something
was a
better.
serious question because you're telling me how he's cutting Medicaid, right?
I haven't mentioned
What
that.
are they actually doing with Medicaid?
Well, if they are cutting Medicaid and this is your cope that people like me won't get it, then go for it. If that helps you sleep. But the reality is, people who do need it are gonna also not get it. That's the reality of it.
They're cutting able-bodied people
Well,
without kids.
that's what they're saying, but we can actually look at the details and know that there will be other collateral damage. All right, if they can surgically remove only people who don't deserve it to get out of Medicaid, then that's great. But I don't think they're doing that. They're taking chainsaws to stuff.
Well, in 2000, the Medicaid roll was 200.
Snooze. Someone already paid to kick. Rockin' Wheelie, thank you for the $40. Thank you so much for the kick. W Rockin' Wheelie, love you so much. Able body make too much to qualify. Seniors and people on disability. Medicaid provides free, low-cost medical benefits. Adults with low income, children, people over 65 and over, and people with disabilities. I highly doubt I would qualify for it in Texas. Age, income level, number of people in your family, if I'm pregnant or have a disability. Let's see what cuts they're making. Able-bodied people can be disabled. It's true. I feel bad for Texas if you're there. Chat, also, if you want to support the channel, consider becoming a subscriber on YouTube or on TikTok. It's something that helps me pay my bills. It's a more reliable way for me to gauge whether my bills are paid, or if you want to send me cash per Venmo, that's also a great way to support me. And it also really hurts MAGA's feelings. It just really hurts them. Family of four is making as little as $35,000 would see new costs for going to the doctor. So that is deeply impoverished. 35 grand, that's not great. Some unemployed people would become ineligible. Some seniors would lose access to long-term care coverage, and states would lose a portion of federal dollars that help them cover those just above the poverty line. Also, 4 schools in my area that I grew up in. I was born in Carrollton, Texas. There were 4 schools that are shutting down after Trump gutted the Department of Education. All of them are closing down. Never saw it coming. Never saw it coming. 20% of Texas Department of Education, or 20% of Texas's budget for schooling, for education, comes from federal government. And it turns out, after Trump cut all those fundings, they're closing down fucking four. I went to 3 of these schools. I went to 3 of them. That's a lot of schools to be shutting down, bro. Guys, these people are in such disbelief that this is what's happening. Where does it say that in the bill? They don't trust any news source today. They only trust Trump and his circle of friends who all lie to everybody all day. Guys, they got to pay for the $4 trillion tax cut to rich people somehow. This is one of the things they're doing, guys. They're cutting Department of Education. They're cutting Medicaid so that his rich friends can have tax breaks. And you guys fell for it. You fell for it. And you're a cuck. You think I'm a cuck? Y'all are cucks. Y'all are cucks for this. One in 5 Americans Medicaid nationwide, including 40%. $625 billion. 7.6 million Americans will lose health insurance over the next 10 years. Oof. You're fear-mongering, spreading lies. Oh my God. Jason, thank you for the gifted. Medicaid was created to provide healthcare. This is a quote from Brett Guthrie, the motherfucker in Kentucky. Medicaid was created to provide healthcare for Americans who otherwise could not support themselves. But Democrats expanded the program far beyond the core mission. God forbid we want a healthy society where people aren't lying out on the street with open sores and no healthcare, having children in bathtubs. This is insane, dude. We're the richest country on earth, and Republicans keep pulling us back 50 years. Insane, dude.
I find it funny. I find it interesting, Pickles, because I feel like you're biting the hand that feeds you. And the reason why I say that is because Trump just extended the TikTok. You know how he's preventing the ban or whatever. And this is how I'm not going to make assumptions, but you make money on here. I'm not going to say it's what you do for a living or what. I don't know anything, but I know you make good money. And so my thing is that you're biting the hand that feeds you by saying that you don't like Trump, but at the same time, he's the guy who's helping you. You know, he's keeping the lights on. You know, so we got to be real. You're biting the hand that feeds you.
Listen, I'm sure all like authoritarians in history have done something nice, but we don't praise them for that.
Wow.
Does it make up for all the bad stuff?
In a sense, that's you're telling part of the story because you have yet to say thank you. You know, you're just biting the hand that feeds you. That's being ungrateful. You know, I understand. I understand you know you're Democrat, and I understand that you know you have to prove your point and all that. But at the same time, you got to.
Imagine someone did something wrong to you. So imagine someone assaulted you and then gave you $5. Would I be right to be like, listen, did you ever say thank you for that $5 he gave you?
Dude, I've been assaulted many times in my life. Like, come on, I know
That's
exactly
not relevant.
what you mean.
Did any of them give you $5?
Dude, I've been assaulted multiple times, dude. Come on now. I understand.
That's not relevant. I'm asking, so this should be an easy hypothetical for you. Would any of them giving you $5 make that okay?
That's a good question. You know, that's a good question. I understand the point you're making. My thing is that I just don't feel like it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I don't feel like it's the same. I don't feel like it's applicable. It's non-analogous. Like I get where you're going for. That's cute. That was cute. You thought you ate with that. You thought you cooked. I
I ate
respect
down
the
with that.
attempt. You
Rich
get
Poor,
an A for effort.
don't play it.
You get an A for effort. You get an A for effort. You get an A for effort.
Oh my god.
But I'm just saying he did recently extend the TikTok. Not getting banned. So he did recently extend that.
He also stopped it from having the sale completed. They were in advanced talks with Cisco, and Trump's tariffs on China stopped China from allowing the sale.
When was this?
This was about a month and a half ago.
A month and a half ago. Okay, so that was before he was in. Wait, hold on a second. Let me double check. Hold on a second. Let me triple check.
It was
okay.
it was like a week after the tariff started.
Okay. My memory's not always been. There's just been a lot happening. So okay. But even with that being the case, though, I'm saying more recently he did extend it. I think this was only a few days ago, man. So I just think it's
one small thing does not change my mind about Trump.
No, but pickles. Listen. This is not one small thing, and that's the problem. Is that you're downplaying the significance of it. You guys will minimize the great things he does, and you'll maximize the very small mistakes. This isn't one small thing. This is an entire platform to where people can connect and be educated and entertained, and people make money. I look at Pickles. I look at Dan Malik. I look at Good Trouble. I look at what's his name, Johnny Palmadessa. I look at all these people. They make millions of dollars a day, on the platform that Trump is providing. And so at the end of the day, you just shouldn't bite the hand that feeds you. I even told Johnny this as well, and I told all these people that I've named, there's a lot of people who shouldn't bite the hand that feeds them. Trump
tried to ban this app with an executive order. Do you remember that?
Trump tried to ban this app with an executive order.
And his new argument in Supreme Court is that if a federal judge were to try to stop him ruling with executive order, that they shouldn't be able to. So if it were up to Trump, this would have been gone many years ago.
Well, that's not true. Okay. Okay. Next topic, because I don't want to necessarily keep on going on the same topic. We can move on to the next topic. My buddy, is your phone number up? Because my buddy wants to call you. He wants to have a word with you. Is the phone number on YouTube? I'm on TikTok.
I'll turn the phone number back on. It's on my YouTube.
Okay, because he didn't see it. He's gonna come in hot though. He's not having a good day, so he's not as patient as me. But he'll get his point across. He's pretty respectful, so he'll have that. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say right now. People shouldn't bite the hand that feeds them. You shouldn't bite the hand that feeds you. That's the main point I was trying to
make. I appreciate your input, Rich Poor.
Oh, no problem. That's basically all I have to say. I'm not gonna wear out my welcome. That's basically all I have to say at this point. That's all I have to say.
All right, Bub. What are we gonna do with him, guys? What are we gonna do with him? I can't block him. I can't block him. I can't pull myself to block him, chat. I just turned the phone number back on. If you guys have been trying to call, it's back on now. Rich Poor wipes before using the toilet. It's not exactly something you can shame someone about. Yeah, I think that's hygienic. It's weird, but let's be real. Devil's Lettuce, thank you for the subscription. Rich Poor doesn't use straws when he drinks from a juice box. Those are wild allegations. That's going to be hard to beat, Rich Poor. That's going to be hard to beat, guy. Wipes for going. Sometimes I wipe and I don't even go. Sometimes you just got to get a good wipe in there. Make wiping great again. It's going to be a slow day. What are they doing? Are they all today's Sunday? Maybe they're at church. Maybe they're all sending $1,000 to Trump's White House lady for the prayers. Maybe they're all checked out doing that. Maybe they're all reading from their Trump Bibles. Yellow, is this a Trump supporter?
Yeah, generally.
Okay, what do you like about Trump?
That he's reducing the size of the federal government.
I would generally say that that's a Republican belief because maybe they don't like being affected or told what to do by the federal government, or maybe they don't like the spending, but Trump is doing both of those things more than anyone else. He's doing a lot of government overreach and he's spending more than anybody else.
Yeah, that's not good.
So what about a small government do you like that Trump's doing?
Well, he did the Doge thing, right?
Have you looked at the facts on that?
Well, everybody's complaining about all the cuts from the VA, right? So that's money in our pocket, right?
It's literally almost nothing compared to our yearly budget as a country. So we're taking money away from veterans to give to rich people, tax breaks?
Well, let's be clear that the money taken away from the veterans is money back in the federal coffers, right?
Yeah,
And one
it's
step
because
closer.
Trump has a $4 trillion tax break he wants to pass, and it's going to go to the 1%.
Well, that's good, as long as it's not the federal government.
Why do you say that? When the federal government gets a hold of it, they like do subsidies and make things cheaper for us, like oil. They pay for kids to go to school or eat lunch at school. What's bad about that?
Well, like you asked me a question, and I didn't know there was a wrong answer, right? He's making the federal government smaller. That's something that I like.
Like in what way? Like it's less effective, but it's costing more money.
No, smaller is smaller. We'll get into the nitty gritty later.
Smaller in
But
what means?
in general, on a whole, the smaller the federal government, the better.
How so?
Because government doesn't create anything, it only moves money. There's no such thing as a free lunch, right? Sure, the federal government pays for schools, but where do they get that money from?
I would much prefer like having a developed nation because we have data showing that like the better the education in a country, the better the economy, the less crime, and also when children eat school lunch, they are more effectively learning, so they get better grades. So I feel like that's one of the best ways to spend money rather than giving like billionaires extra tax breaks. I think that's way better use of my money.
So what you should really be clamoring for is a lot more members in the House of Representatives. Currently, we have 435 members. There should be about 3,500 members in the lower house.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess sure. I also don't think that a bunch of these red states deserve as many representatives as they have, considering how few people they have.
Well, no, that's they have the proper amount according to, the Electoral College. But check this out. When you do the House of Representatives, it's one vote to one voice. Every constituency has 50,000 members in it. So that wouldn't be a problem for you anymore.
Okay, I still don't see like your party is the most unproductive party in Congress over the last like 3 or 4 years. I don't know how that's going to fix it. You guys can't get along. Every time your Congress people try to speak out and place their votes to reflect the voice of their constituents, Trump calls them anti-American. He wants to go around Congress to govern. MAGA can't govern at all and get along at all. So Trump can only rule by executive order. So I think it would only make it harder for Trump to do his thing, wouldn't it?
Right, exactly. So you want more members in the lower house.
I guess. Yeah, I don't see how
Yeah.
you would be advocating for it, but sure. If
Well, it
if
would
we
be
had more
easier.
members to reflect populations, like for instance, Kentucky has like 500,000 people and LA County has 9 million people. Do you think they should have the same amount of representatives?
In the lower house, it should be one vote, one voice, meaning that this was a Supreme Court decision, meaning that uh, the what the district size should have 100,000 people in it, whether it's 100,000 in the city of Los Angeles or 100,000 in the backwoods of Kentucky, right? It would just be a larger or smaller piece on the map.
I don't know what this would do for y'all. That sounds like a bigger government to me too, right?
Well, that's a finer point, but it's kind of a smaller government. But the one thing it would do, it'd make it easier for me to run for congressman.
Okay.
Well, you asked.
Okay. I still don't get how smaller government helps anybody. If you think it's going to lower your taxes, that's not true. Trump is probably going to raise your taxes. If you make under $360,000 a year, you're getting a shittier government and higher taxes. So, what's the upside to that?
The way I'll explain it is if Denmark wants to commandeer all the hospitals, it kind of makes sense to me. England, United States, definitely not.
What?
Not a good idea.
What does that mean?
So Denmark, right? That little pip on the top of Germany, right?
Yeah, one of the happiest nations on earth.
Right. It would make all right. So let's amend the Constitution and make legal secession possible. You on board? Because I am.
Or we could just start doing things that Denmark does. We're the richest country on earth. We can just start doing
No,
those
no, no.
things.
You're the tyrant. If you don't let states break away, you're the bad guy.
Okay, and what does that make somebody who wants to take over sovereign nations?
An invader?
Like Trump with Canada and Greenland and Panama?
I don't think he's trying to bring tanks into Toronto.
He's threatening them economically and trying to get them to like he's been trying to get them to become part of the United States. Same thing with Greenland.
Right, and
He's
that's
been
the
talking about military invasions with Panama too.
and that's the Democrats' fault. If the United States government didn't have so much power in the first place, Trump wouldn't be able to throw his
So
weight
it's
around
our
like he
fault that
did.
Trump is overextending his
Yeah,
power and abusing his power.
absolutely. If you like FDR, Trump's your fault.
Bro, you're kidding me. You're blaming us for Trump's actions when y'all like that he does this
No,
kind of stuff?
I'm blaming you for the Trump's for his ability for those actions.
What actions did Democrats do to give Trump the ability to threaten Greenland?
If the federal government wasn't so big, they wouldn't be doing that kind of thing.
What do you mean? In what way did we do that?
For if you let the United States government run your pension, meaning Social Security, the president's going to get more powerful just by proxy.
What? If
No?
if the society has more of a like less people in poverty, that makes Trump more likely
No.
to invade Greenland?
Of course you point to the beneficiaries. That's you can't see the forest from the trees.
I'm trying to make sense of it, dude.
when you give the federal government so much power, a guy like Trump's going to come along and he's going to do things that you don't like.
Dog, Trump is doing nothing but trying to consolidate power himself. Are you going to condemn that?
Absolutely.
Dog, I'm not going to let you fucking gaslight me. Trump is the one reaching for power. Trump got Supreme Court to give him like presidential immunity. Trump got them. He's fighting in court right now to have to where federal judges can't do injunctions on his executive orders. Meaning, like, if somebody like a Democrat wanted to come in after this and say the Second Amendment is bullshit, we're going to take all of the guns. What we would effectively be able to do is take all the guns until each individual who thinks their rights were being trampled by this would sue the government. So you hopefully would have enough money and time to go to your state judge and sue the federal government. And hopefully by the time that's over, it's before they take your guns. Whether that be 8 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road.
And
That's what you want.
These are the guys you're letting run your pension and health care? And you call me crazy?
Listen,
right?
pensions and healthcare work in every other country effectively worldwide. For you to somehow condemn our federal government for not putting somebody who's trying to make a profit in between us and our pension is crazy.
No, you're you're mischaracterizing it. But you can only compare national health to China. Because running the healthcare system in Denmark is very different than running it in China or the United States.
Just because of the population?
Yeah.
I think we would have effectively. So like, what would be easier? Like, what's a like? You have insurance, right? Have you ever been in a small insurance group? Have you been in an insurance group with like 4 people before?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay, what is it? Would it be more or less expensive and better healthcare to be in a group with 4 people or 400 people? Tell me.
Yeah, with the less people, because
No, it's more yes, it's more expensive with less people, right? So we having a bigger
no,
population and more money, we would have a better, more robust health system, wouldn't we?
no, because
Bro, yes, we would
imagine if
have way more bargaining power. Yes, we would. We would have way more bargaining power. We have cheaper meds because guess what? There's 350 million customers. Bargaining with a pharmaceutical company for those services, or bargaining with a health company for those services would be huge. They would want our business. You either get it or
no,
you don't.
think about this in the abstract. Let's say Rome, Italy now owns all the healthcare around the world. Right? Somehow they've manufactured a way to get all the hospitals under the Catholic diocese, right? This is a one payer system. The Obama's dream, the entire world is under one doctor, right? And a guy from Argentina has to send his money to Rome for the money to come back to build a hospital. That's the loss. When the money stays home, the federal government stays out of it. That is how the healthcare is better.
There are people making billions and billions of dollars between us and our healthcare, and we pay twice as much than the other countries that have socialized medicine, and we have worse outcomes. They have better
All
outcomes
right,
and pay
I'll talk to that
half.
point. I'll talk to that point. The United States is this mix mosh of something. So if we went all the way to socialized medicine, yes, it may be an improvement. But that's not to say that if the federal government got all the way out of it, we'd be better off than if we went 100% full socialization on the healthcare.
I think that all you guys can do is create doubt and demonize the federal government when the federal government is us. They are us. People like me, people like you who want to run for Congress, that's who it's made of. And they would probably do everything in their power to make sure it's effective for the people as long as the legislatures let us. If the Heritage Foundation got their fucking dirty dick beaters and didn't fuck up Obamacare, we would have something akin to that.
No. So the idea behind that 3,500 members in the lower house is you legalize bribery. Money and democracy go hand in hand.
I don't
And
I
it's
don't know what
really,
you're saying. That's already legalized, right?
well, you brought up the Heritage Foundation. I'm sure you're against Citizens United and,
Yeah.
you know, No, it's really important that you can bribe politicians.
Why do you say that?
It it's because if you think you can stop it, you're only fooling yourself. So you might as well
So it's
legalize it.
good because you think it's inevitable?
No, because Scottish proverb, laws are like spider webs. They catch the flies and let the hornets go free. Bribery laws hurt the little guy because the rich people can bribe the politician, but the little guy can't.
Dude, okay, or we could just outlaw it. And places like China, you're not even allowed to own stocks. So when people make decisions in Congress, or when the president makes decision, and we're not sure whether it's in the best interest of the constituents or the president's portfolio, that's pretty harmful. If we just straight up outlaw it, wouldn't that fix that problem? Like, even if your family members and friends wouldn't be able to own stock if we did it just like China did. It would cut out all of that doubt that you have just because you think it would be like really hard and people would inevitably do it. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try to do it. Like, a lot of countries implement this and it's cut a lot of that out.
There's a Chinese stock market.
Yeah, but people in the government can't have stocks.
The I think, who do you think has a better standard of living, the American or the Chinaman?
In a few years, I bet China will.
Well, I mean, it's taken them a long time to get there. One thing I can say is that they used to not allow foreign investment. So if we did it your way, at any one point, America could say, "Oh, we're not taking outside dollars." That's kind of
Well,
that
I
would kind
mean,
of hurt
do
us.
you think Trump having a meme coin that any country can anonymously donate to him is a good idea? Do you think if Biden had that, you guys wouldn't have a problem?
Well, there is something in the Constitution. Annulments are allowed with Congress's consent.
And when has Congress consented for any of this?
I don't know. Then the courts would figure it out.
Okay, so they haven't, and he's receiving donations, right?
The vitriol for Trump shows a lack of civic knowledge. I don't know if
I
you
don't think
just
you
want
answered my question there.
what's the question?
Congress hasn't approved any of these things, but you're justifying them already.
Well, if Congress has, I answered it, then they'll have to take him to court.
And anybody who takes them to court, I'm sure will be threatened in the news by Musk to be primaried, by their constituents. They'll all be called rhinos. That's what you guys do to everybody who speaks out against Trump. They will lose their jobs.
Right, and this is why you want 3,500 members in the lower house, so democracy can take
So
its
you
course.
acknowledge that's where we're at today, though.
The reason why I say 3,500 members in the lower house is because everyone says, I want this, I want that, I want this, I can fix it, this and that. But if we had 3,500 members in the lower house, it would be more democracy that the founding fathers had intended, where the lower house is the primary arm of the federal government, not the presidency. The president's the executive. It's there
Well,
to execute the
I feel
law.
like what you're saying is antithetical to the Trump administration. Trump wants to rule by executive order. He wants the Supreme Court to stay out of it. He wants the federal judges stay out of it. He wants to do whatever the fuck he wants to, and he's also threatening all these judges with impeachment. So for you to be like, listen, we just need 3,500 members in Congress, it would literally do nothing. We would be at a standstill. Half the time we've tried to vote for stuff, we'd just be at a standstill. We'd just be sitting there with people be sitting on their hands, doing nothing, just like y'all are doing right now. There's no movement. We all passed 5 bills. 5.
Well, what do you think? What do you think is the proper amount of constituents per representative?
I don't know. I
Right now,
feel like before we even fix that, we should fix like we should fix how red states have DEI in the presidential election process.
oh, well, we're not supposed to be voting for president. We're not supposed to be voting for senators. We're supposed to be voting for the lower house.
You're not supposed to be voting for senators. We're not a representative democracy.
No, the 17th Amendment, you got it in front of you? 17th Amendment made it so they used to be appointed by the state legislator, right? And the 17th Amendment made it to a popular vote. So go ahead, look it up. 17th Amendment. Yeah.
Yeah, prior to the 17th Amendment, senators were chosen by state legislators.
Correct. And also with the president, right, they had the electors. Now, the states could hold a popular vote for the
It
electors,
shifted power
but
to the people. I think this is better, right?
I was trying to do some research and seeing what's the difference between senators being elected by the state legislator versus being elected by the popular, the popular vote. And the one thing is that uh, mandate without um, mandate without compensation. So if the federal government says to the state of Pennsylvania, you got to do this, this, and this, but doesn't give them any money to do that, the the senators from the legislator would be more likely to stick up for the state. Like us, we are not using our state police without just compensation. Whereas if they were voted
I feel like that
popularly,
would
they
be much
might.
more easy to corrupt. So the senators would have to be to win the favorability of very few people over
No,
the
no, no. Hold
favorability
on
of the
though.
masses.
One moment though. If you look at the job of the Senate, the corruption isn't it's not that bad. It's about appointing judges and this and that. The important thing about the lower house is it's where taxes and budgets must originate from. So when we look at the general welfare of the people, it would make sense if we were all the lower
So you want state
350.
legislatures to ultimately have more power than the federal senators?
No, no, no. We're talking about the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. Since that is where all taxes and budgets originate from, it would make sense that we are all inside of that assembly.
I feel like you're asking for less ability to hold senators accountable.
Let forget the senators for a second. The House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. is where taxes and budgets must originate from. Yeah?
The senator? You said Congress or senator? Sorry, I'm also reading.
No, no. Senators are the upper house.
Yeah, I know, but that's why it doesn't make sense to me because bills originate in the Congress, in the House.
No, no. For the third time, bills that are for spending, taxes, budgets must originate in the lower house.
I know that.
Okay, so it would
That's
make
already there.
sense. So it would make sense that we were all inside of that assembly, right?
Who's we?
All 350 million Americans.
Do you want to be able to directly vote
No,
for
I'm
bills in the House?
asking you. I'm asking you a question. It would make sense that we were all inside of that legislative assembly concerning
In what
when
way?
it in the way I want to come in your mother's ass.
Oh my fuck. Okay. Well, um, I had a question. This is going backwards a little bit. Um, can you expand, Albert, on how democratic expansion of the government empowered Trump to do what he's doing now?
Yeah, it has to do with the money. If the Social Security, if they didn't run the Social Security or the Medicare or half the military or the EPA, if they didn't have all that power, the president would just be a piddly little dude doing the will of the people,
Thank God.
right?
You
Yeah.
do that doesn't make any sense. Like, first off, the expansion of the government by Democrats comes with regulations, which is what Donald Trump is trying to deregulate. What's one of those executive orders he passed? For every new regulation passed, he wants to undo 10. And he's been using AI to decipher these things. So we have no idea how vital some of those regulations are to our safety. Then you have the fact of freaking the powers that any Democrats have expanded on in the government being lower, he can just bypass through executive action or attempt to. Uh, and then the courts are just doing their best to keep up. So nothing about that statement makes any sense whatsoever, because if all the government bodies that Democrats are expanding on is just what Donald Trump is going to jump over. He's not going through the processes, the checks and balances of that expansion. So it doesn't matter. If anything, I would argue that maybe there needs to be a conversation about
Hmm.
Democrats expanding
No,
on
no,
powers
no.
that ultimately
I,
What it
can't
I,
would
stop the
be
president.
if
I'm
there
also
were 10% less taxes collected, Trump would be 10% less powerful.
no,
What?
no, that's not true. That's not true. If there were less checks and balances, he could still be, even with 10% less GDP or 10% less taxes, he would still be more powerful. Even if he pulled us all into poverty and he controlled all arms of the government, he'd be more powerful, like he's trying to do right now.
Yeah, 10% less taxes will be 10% less for things like the social programs that we have going on. So,
Yeah.
And 10% less Trump power.
No,
can
if
you?
we had all of these robust programs, and if Trump couldn't alter them by executive order, that wouldn't make Trump more powerful. It would simply just be something he couldn't touch.
So that's one of the things I think a larger lower house would solve.
Why would that solve
Because
that? Congress already holds the strings of the purse. They're the ones who decide how much money we spend on this, and that. Trump can't just spend money with an executive order, which he does all the time. He
well,
invokes wartime authority to do shit like this. And that's why we've spent more money than we did last year, by the tune of like $200 billion in the first 100 days. That's what Trump is. Trump is a usurping power. Trump has sat around with all of his friends in the Heritage Foundation, and they've drawn
but
up a
what
plan.
power to usurp? I'm saying not give it to them in the first place.
Okay, and you're the one cheering him on too. And you just have this like weird hypothetical way you want to reshape the government. That doesn't help us right now, dude. Nobody's gonna get behind your cosplaying with like new government formation. We want to talk about what's right and wrong right now. What Trump is doing is wrong. He's abusing his authority. We want somebody in there who's a responsible adult.
Oh man, if only you could talk to George Washington. If men were angels, we wouldn't need a government.
I fucking can't. And then now you're trying to. Anyways, Pickles, I can't take this seriously. Drop me down. I appreciate you and everything you do.
Thanks for trying. Okay, all right. We can't just justify Trump's actions by saying nobody's an angel either. That is an impossible standard.
But your plan,
nobody's an angel.
No. Your plan is to vote Kamala in every time, and it's not going to happen.
Or vote anybody in. Yes, vote anybody in other than Trump. Yes, somebody who's not a malignant narcissist.
If that's your plan, Trump's going to get in.
What are you talking? Are you pro Trump or not?
I'm anti-Kamala, I'll tell you that much.
Well, that's anybody who's tried to explain that to me has failed miserably.
I don't like Trump's immigration, and I don't like his tariffs. But basically everything else, it's fine.
Which is nothing.
He's reducing the size of the federal government.
No, he's not. He's spending more.
He cut all the veterans' benefits.
Not just veterans' benefits. He cut USAID. He's cut the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. For every dollar we spent there, we saved Americans $4. He's cutting science research, cancer research. He's trying to control how fucking schools do their own business. He's trying to use the federal government to control how colleges work. He's trying to threaten sanctuary cities if they don't abide by his laws. He's cutting FEMA aid out.
Let's go with the college.
Sure.
So my argument for the college is that if the federal government never did anything in the first place, Trump wouldn't have the power. It would already be taken away, yeah?
Dude, as a country, we need to invest in the forefront of science to succeed. If we want to keep up with the rest of these countries, we need to subsidize. That's where all of this science, all the like state of the art science that happens in this country or in most countries happens at a college level. They happen at colleges.
You think if we cut a Medicare that all the old people are going to explode? So I don't know what to tell you.
Or the 20% of all people who have children won't have money to have children. Like, do you want us to keep reproducing, or are you just trying to force people to have children?
What Milton Friedman shows is these programs actually hurt the people they're intending to help. So you're the one who's actually hurting
No,
the
they
poor
don't. They make us
people.
advance society. Every fucking country on earth who champions these types of social safety nets have far more healthier societies. They have far better economic mobility. They have far better everything. They have less crime. It's just stupid for you guys to demonize it at every turn. You have this abstract idea that everybody's abusing it, even though you have no numbers to prove it. You have nothing to prove it. You have no
I
data.
never said that. I never said that. And I think if we had 3,500 members in Congress, you'd be more likely to get those.
What is going on? You
Well,
want
if you're
smaller
just going to
government, but you want more people in
if you're
Congress?
no, it's quantum. It's the bigger the legislative body, the smaller the government. I understand there's more employees, but you're probably too stupid to realize that anyway.
Listen, I know you're struggling here, but you don't got to use ad homs.
You better start listening to me.
You're pretty boring.
You're not going to listen? You're not going to listen?
I am listening. I'm responding to everything you're saying.
No.
This is not the same. I'm not your friend at fucking Discount Tire. I'm not just going to take this bullshit political talk and let it go unchecked.
Yeah, so with the 3,500 members in Congress, the people will be better represented.
Okay. Now, if Congress right now all had, they were 3,500 members deep, yet still 50+% of them all were bending down to Trump, had no spine to stand up to Trump, because otherwise they'd be called a rhino immediately.
Go watch
What would that help?
Days of Our Lives. Go watch Days of Our Lives or All My Children. You don't know civics. You treat it like it's WWF or a soap opera.
You're the one who fucking champions a guy who paints his face orange.
You got your little Nancy Pelosi and Trump dolls. Do you fight them? Do you have play debates?
I'm the one who takes this very seriously. I take this very seriously. You're talking about
civics. You don't know
3,500
anything
members
about
of
civics.
Congress, and we're all talking about like pragmatic stuff that could happen like this next voting cycle, not your like Star Trek version of whatever the fuck our government is.
Oh, you want to get Democrats in? I would say, I mean, you got to go on. You got to go on the hardline Democratic issues. What about abolishing the DEA? Yeah.
No. What?
You're supposed to be a Democrat.
Listen, we're free thinkers. We don't just all follow like one crazy fucking line of reasoning and justify every horrible thing our presidents do.
Well, you like the Constitution, yeah?
Yeah, more than you.
All right, read the preamble. Last one, blessings of liberty, right?
What about it?
Domestic tranquility, the blessings of liberty. Wouldn't you say that using narcotics is included in the blessings of liberty?
Yeah, I do believe in things like legalizing most recreational drugs, doing harm reduction, and facilities that rehabilitate people. There's a lot of countries, I think like Singapore, that do things like this and show how effective it is. But every time we try to do it, I remember when Joe Biden authorized something with the HHA to hand out harm reduction things like clean needles and usage sites. And you guys ran around with your hands above your heads, with your hair on fire, saying that Joe Biden's handing out crack pipes. Remember that you guys are so mature you couldn't handle it? Well, if you want things like that to happen, vote blue.
The blessings of liberty, wouldn't that include growing poppies?
I don't know, man.
That's why you're a bad Democrat. That's why you'll never get the vote, because you're not for the people.
What? Dude, you guys are taking people's rights away and raising taxes, and I'm not for the people. You guys are taking away government.
You won't let me grow poppies.
Dude, I could give a fuck care. I could care less, dude. If you want to go be the people that Trump is deporting and create your own poppy and sell the H drug to your local teenagers, then go for it, bro.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The states can still outlaw it if they want, but um,
All right, I don't know why you vote Republican. Like every blue state that's legalized the M drug has shown how effective it is in raising taxes and like paying for programs. You guys still have all of your party are still against it. Everybody, all the big names in your party still against doing even the green stuff. I'm in
I'm not a
Texas.
Republican. I'm a
Okay.
libertarian.
I'm sure. Okay. I'm sure you are. I'm sure every libertarian who says they're for Trump is completely upside down in morals and have no idea what that fucking means.
I think what's going on right now in the government. I think you're totally blowing it out of proportion. Trump is staying within his bounds. Maybe he made a couple hiccups. Arbrego
You're
Garcia.
fucking
Yeah,
shitting my dick.
no, you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
Dude, the
What's
whole
going?
world, like civil rights watchdog organizations across the world are criticizing what Trump's doing. There are countries who have travel warnings on
Mm,
our country. We have
mm,
11% dip in
yeah,
tourism because of what Trump
it,
is doing.
it's the Democrats' fault that we don't have open immigration, and it's because of minimum wages and Social
Okay,
Security.
or
Yeah.
all right. Well, I hope you have a good day. I just got paid to kick. W Jennifer in the chat. W Jennifer. What did Jennifer say? Kick this guy. Okay. Yeah, that guy sucks, dude. Anybody who claims to be libertarian and is for Trump is completely asinine. You'd be for open borders. You'd be like totally against all this shit Trump's doing with war. You'd be totally against the Trump's tariffs. It, it's completely bad. Like those are the two biggest aspects of domestic policy right there. Done. You'd be out of it. You'd be completely out. Trump would be not your guy. Guys, the phone line is down because I have people on TikTok requesting up. I'm sorry, guys. I'll take the number down for now. If I run out of guests on TikTok, then I will open the phone line back up. W Jennifer again in the chat. Best $40 I've ever spent. Hey, thank you for your service. Hello? Sheila? I don't think this is a real. All right. Yeah, it could be a poop call, guys. Rand Paul's libertarian light and he can't stand Trump. Yeah. Guys, I think I might be turning on the phone number again then. If you're a Trump supporter, hop in the box if you want to debate. Otherwise, we're almost at 100K. Give me a few likes so that we can get some more people in here. I'm going to turn the phone line back on. Also, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't be selfish. Constitution is king, not Trump. Thank you. Love that. It's beautiful. Is that Shakespeare? It's beautiful. What's my YouTube? It's the same thing. Pre-recorded nonsense? No, this is live. The phone line scares me. If you go to my link tree in my bio, there's a link to my YouTube there. If you guys want to follow me there. If Trump ever stops renewing the suspension of the ban, that's where I'll be. Yellow, is this a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you like about Trump?
I like how I like how he's giving Americans a shot back from how the Democrats used a lot of the federal money to house them inside of hotels, and then when the hurricane hit in North Carolina, suddenly we had no what was it's not FAFSA, but
FEMA?
you know Yeah, FEMA.
Oh,
All of
I'm
a
gonna
sudden we
stop
have
you right there, bro.
good.
Do you have an extra device on you?
Like what do you mean, like another phone?
Yeah, I want you to Google Trump denies FEMA aid to 3 Republican states this time around. This year, Trump is
Which
not
ones?
giving any FEMA aid to any states that
Which
had
ones? Which
disasters
which
already.
ones? Which ones?
Arkansas is one of them.
Okay, what happened in Arkansas?
They had hurricanes.
Obviously, it's not enough to. I mean, I haven't
$1
heard
million
really
in
nothing
damages
about
is
it.
enough to consider it
Okay.
a catastrophe. It's been billions.
Yeah, but we're talking North Carolina. We're talking about billions, man. It destroyed communities,
Okay,
and then all.
Trump is
Go
trying to
ahead.
dissolve FEMA so that no one gets FEMA.
Hang
He
on,
doesn't want
hang on.
anybody to get FEMA money.
Which were the other two? Which were the other two states you said?
I'll give it to you.
And all I'm saying is, at that time, man, when that Category 5
We
hurricane was
told y'all
coming to
that
North
Trump was
Carolina.
gonna Trump is gonna get rid of FEMA entirely. So this is nonsense.
Okay. Oh, well, hang on. Let's go. When that happened during Joe Biden's time, dude, we're talking about billions of dollars in damage to North Carolina, and there was
Same.
not a single cent for
Same.
that. And that community is still reeling
Okay.
from that.
Every
Go
disaster
ahead,
that
Joe.
happens from this point forward, no money ever, none.
Yeah, maybe. He says a lot
Is
of
that
shit.
better? Is that better than $750 or worse?
What do you mean?
It's worse, right? Nobody getting
No,
money is worse
what do
than
you mean?
$750 plus the catastrophe recovery.
Oh, you mean when Biden gave everyone $750 down there?
Yes,
Same with like
that's how FEMA.
Maui. He did that same thing with Maui. Didn't
That's
he
how
do that
FEMA
too?
works. Yes, that's not Biden's personal decision.
Yeah,
That's just how
and
FEMA
it's
works.
kind of crazy, but do you know why there's only $750? Do you know
Yeah,
why?
that
It's
is
because they were
immediate
giving
disaster
migrants
aid.
that were coming over. They were giving migrants, man. I think it was like $1,000 or $2,000
It's not
cards,
true.
and giving them. Bro, what are you talking about? There's hotels in
It's not true.
Chicago. There's hotels in
Those
New York.
Those are state funded.
Yeah,
Those
no,
are
they
for
were
asylum
federally
seekers.
funded.
Those are for asylum
Nah,
seekers.
I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all.
Okay, well that's silly. How, as
Go
an
ahead.
undocumented migrant, how do you go ask for services? How do you do that?
Here, let's get off of this, because you also asked me too. What else did I like about him? What else did I like about him? Okay, no, or you want to keep talking? We can keep talking about.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
this is propaganda spread by the right, and you need to acknowledge this. When asylum seekers come here, they get a
I
work
already
permit
know.
in
I already
6
know.
months. And yes, when there are storms and snow, yes, they put them into places like schools and stuff for a day or two, so they don't die outside in
No,
their
this
camps.
is not. We're not talking about. Bro, they were straight coming over the border, and New York City was putting them up.
Okay, nobody gets anything unless you're an asylum seeker. If you're just straight up undocumented, you don't get anything.
Which, no offense, I don't think they should do that anyhow. I mean,
why?
I mean, because anybody else that comes over here to become a citizen, we're not fucking giving them no aid. No, dude, they're coming here.
Because they're
doing
fleeing
their
their country because
7 years,
they're in threat of their lives.
they're walling it out.
They're
Bro,
in
it
threat
happens
of
all
their
the
lives.
time.
They're in
Huh?
threat of their lives. The reason we even started this is because people like Jews were fleeing Germany. Do you remember that? Do you think you would be throwing the same fit if you saw a group of Jewish people in the middle of the street receiving care? Would you be throwing a fucking fit the same way?
No, I wouldn't anyhow. And out of anyone, I just don't think like, man, like, hey, man, like, bro, I'm not getting that, and I live in this country, so you shouldn't either. Like, we all got to make our fucking bones.
You didn't seek
You know what I'm
asylum.
saying?
Your country wasn't trying to kill you.
Yeah, okay, hey, if you make it here, you make it here, dude. But I don't think you deserve government
It's not just
assistance.
running here. They they were being persecuted for their religion, their race, their sexuality.
Yeah,
One of those protected
I
traits.
understand that.
That's when we
100%.
say, hey,
I get that.
And then
I get that. But
in 6 months
good.
they get a work permit, and then they pay taxes for 80 years if they stay here. It's well worth the investment.
1 second. 1 sec. I'm sorry. I got my train of thought just got thrown off.
If somebody comes
what
here
was the
and
last thing you said?
receives if somebody comes here and receives benefits for 2-3 months, and then they work for 60 years paying taxes, it pays off, right?
Right.
So what's the problem?
1 second. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. What was the last thing you just said, man?
If they come here and they get put up in a hotel for 2 months and then they get a work permit and they pay taxes for 60 years, that pays
Yeah, no,
off, right?
bro, I get all that. That's fine. But you cannot say that we're not funding people coming over here, getting hotel rooms, and bro, they were getting debit cards
They got debit
from
cards
the
with
federal government, from the federal government.
$12 a day from the
No,
from the
no, I
state
don't believe that
government.
at all. Cars, they were getting cars,
They're not getting cars.
bro. I'm from Ohio. Springfield has a large Haitian population.
Yeah, and they
I've
saved your
seen it
economy.
with my own eyes.
Yeah, they saved your economy. Those people have work permits.
What?
They were placed there with
No,
temporary
and what I'm
protected
telling you
status.
though is they got cards and cars from the federal government.
I don't know about all that.
They were
We don't have
given
a we don't have a federal program.
money and vehicles.
We don't have a federal program that gives people cars, man.
You're not, bro. You're not getting it. The thing, it's called fixers. They don't.
You're
What
just
do you think?
making.
Everything's gonna be put
Listen,
on paper?
have you ever Googled this? Yeah, like no,
Yes. Yeah, I've seen it myself.
no. You can't just look at people that drive cars and say they must have got that for free.
You don't
from the
have to, man.
federal
You can
government.
talk to them. It's pretty easy. When 5,000 Haitians move into Springfield, Ohio.
It was 15,000, and they saved the economy of Springfield, Ohio.
Exactly. You're making my point, dude.
They
It's
saved the
it's
economy.
pretty easy to talk to them.
Have you looked at?
And I don't know about saving an economy either.
They did.
Do are they getting jobs? Sure.
Yes.
But they're not. What are you talking about saving an economy? Ohio is never in fucking. We were never.
Dude,
We're never like bad off anyhow.
You guys don't have the population to run the jobs that they needed. Go Google it right now. Say
Bro,
Springfield,
we're
Ohio.
seventh in population. What are you talking about? We're the seventh largest state by population. What are you talking
Okay.
about, homie?
Springfield,
No, Ohio.
Ohio, saved
Yeah, Ohio.
population Haitian migrants. I'm gonna read you this article, okay?
Go for it.
Thousands of temporary
Read
Haitian migrants have
whatever you
legally.
want. Hey, here we go. Who's
got
it from? Who's it
I
from?
got you.
What website's this?
Okay, I've
If
got
we're
one
gonna-
from CNN. I'm sure you don't want to hear that. There's
Okay.
19
Well, no,
News,
obviously, why would you? You wouldn't want to hear one from Fox.
CBS. We've got Congressman Michael Turner.
CBS
This
is okay.
.gov. CBS.
CBS isn't bad. No, they're not bad.
Okay, and all these Haitians were there illegally, is what this says. Fearing deportation, some Haitian migrants.
No,
living in
I didn't say
Springfield, Ohio-
illegally.
Okay. 12,000 to 15,000 Haitian migrants reside inside Springfield, Ohio, according to city estimates. It was during President-elect Donald Trump's 10 debate with he said he repeatedly false and debunked claims about Haitian migrants living there, saying they eat dogs and cats. Oh my God. We're going to have the largest deportation in history of our country. And he announced that
Which
he's gonna
was
be reversing-
happening. They were eating cats. That is
No,
true.
They weren't.
Yeah, no, they really were. They really were. They
I've had to
really
debunk
really
this
were.
multiple times, man. They were not.
Bro, are you in Springfield, Ohio, dude?
Is Trump?
No, I'm telling you, they were really fucking eating people's cats.
Did you go?
That
meet
was
them
really
in person?
happening.
Did you go see it in person?
Yeah, I live about 45 minutes away.
Did you see it in person?
So yeah, they were really eating people's cats. I'm
No, they
not
weren't.
saying it's whatever,
The
man.
lady who said she lost a cat, she found her cat later. Did you know that? Where this whole thing started, she said she lost her cat. She thinks her neighbors ate it. She found her fucking cat, bro. What are
You don't know
talking
much about Haitians, do you, my man?
Are you
But
gonna
go on.
perpetuate? Are you gonna perpetuate a
on.
weird stereotype about Haitians?
What about them?
You tell me. What's the stereotype you're saying about Haitians?
What are you talking about? Where are you getting at? You're trying to tell me something. You're trying to tell me something about my state that you have no idea about. I'm telling you, it actually happened, and you're saying they're pushing like, oh no, I don't believe that
I
really
can read
happened.
data, and you're
Like,
just out in the
no,
movies.
it really did happen.
Yeah. Why Springfield, Ohio, a small Ohio city, became a home for thousands of Haitians? How Haitians
Yeah.
are living in Springfield? Did a government program send there for resettlement? How they dumped there? Springfield their destination? Something called Haitian
Well, let's talk about
immigrants?
something else. Let's talk about something else. This is boring. Who gives a shit?
No.
What do you want?
No.
What else do you want to talk about? I believe too. Trump. I believe too. Jobs and everything are coming back with the tariffs. He's doing it because he's trying to put big business into hiring back Americans. He's trying to bring back everything back to America to be built in America. That's
I
why
know
everything was so
that's not
great
gonna
during the
work.
90s or during the 50s. We got all of Germany's gold.
It's not gonna work.
Ford was popping off. Everything was made in America. And then in
Yeah.
the 70s, when not 70s, yeah, no, 67, whatever, not Reagan, but the peace
Okay.
sign
Let
got
me tell you
impeached.
why that's not gonna work. Okay. Let me tell you how that's not gonna work.
What? Tell me what? Hang on. Tell me what's not gonna work.
Making everything here and selling it to the world.
You're crazy. Well, go ahead. I
Let me
want to
tell
hear
you.
this. Hit me. Hit me.
The U.S. dollar is the strongest currency on earth, right?
Why is that?
It doesn't matter. It's
Why
very.
is that?
It's
Why
very.
was that? Why did that happen in the first place?
I don't know, because we're a great country. I don't know.
World's police for one. We were the world's police for one.
Okay.
Two. We had everything was being made here in America. It was always taught.
Okay,
It was always said in the
no.
European countries.
Stop
If you
derailing
want
the
anything,
conversation.
have it
This
bought in
is.
America.
I'm okay.
We sell our soul to
No,
China and have everything
no.
built in China,
Listen,
and then we were the world's police
let
after
me.
that,
Okay,
having favors done.
let me make
I'm
my
just
point.
telling you, bro.
Let me make my
I'm just
point.
telling you what
Well,
actually
I'm glad
happened.
you admit we have the strongest currency on earth. It's worth a lot of. It's
We
worth a
used
lot
to.
more. Can you please chill?
We used to. It's not going to be in the next 10 years.
Okay,
India.
all right.
I'm telling you, India.
All
India is
right,
going to
Bill.
be next.
I got you. But right now,
I'm just saying.
if you want to devalue our dollar using Trump, then go for it. But we have the strongest currency on earth. And if you think that us paying our nation's minimum wage to make things here is going to be cheaper than China with the yuan, then you've got something
So
else
you want to embolden China, though? You want to keep
I'm
filling
not
their
wanting
pocket?
to. This is the nature of how things are.
Yeah, for now.
Okay, in what world
That's
will we
changing.
ever be able to make things cheaper than China, considering our dollar is more stronger?
That's not the point, man. Bro, the point is that you're why do we need to make it cheap? That's not the point. The point is that shit needs to be made here because we need business brought back to our land.
It doesn't matter. We will not. The rest of
the
world
only reason why, homie, our currency stayed so well as the way it was is because we were the world police for 40 fucking years.
That's not what we're talking
and that's
about.
changing.
That's irrelevant.
But I'm telling you, that's the nature of you're talking about the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the beast, man.
Exactly.
Not
I'm
to
glad
mention
you agree
New
with
York's
me.
the financial capital of the world.
Calm down, dude.
Yeah.
You're just
bro,
yapping
this
about
shit
something.
needs to come back here.
You're just yapping about adjacent topics that have nothing to do with what we're saying. I'm telling you that if we started a factory that made shirts that paid everybody minimum wage with the U.S. dollar, paying when the shirt factory has to pay the real estate costs of being here in the United States, we will never make it cheaper than China, and the rest of the world will continue to buy it from China because it's cheaper. We will sell to nobody.
Well, I mean, that's all the point of you just want to keep selling out your country. Because are you trying to talk about are we going to war or are we going to business?
We can't. What do you think we're going to sell it to? Who do you think we're going to sell it to?
To everyone, like we did back in the 60s and 70s, homie.
Nobody's going to buy it.
And what's being sold in China? Nothing but cheap shit. It's
That's
nothing.
Not true.
All
they
but
make
cheap
luxury
shit.
items too.
They do, but the material is what I'm talking about. Steel. They have some of the weakest steel in the world.
We buy their
some of
material
the cheapest steel in the world.
That's not true, man.
And in all honesty, like I said, we only need to outlast them another 10 to 15 years. India's going to be the next people. They're the next up the bat.
Dude. India is one of the poorest countries on earth. They have 1.6 billion
You're
people.
crazy. Okay, then tell me why Apple has quietly for the last 5 to 10 years been pulling factories out of China, and where have they been taking them?
To India, where it's cheap labor.
Bangladesh.
Just cheap labor.
All Fortune 500 companies are doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's just cheap labor.
Bro. Have you not been watching it? The average age, and wasn't China just a third world country in the 80s? Oh, look how fast that happened. So don't give me that bullshit of, they're a third world country, because China did it in 30 years.
Dude,
something that took us
they're
almost 2
different
centuries.
Economies.
What are you talking about? Actually, India just passed China for population. The average Chinese is 35 years old. The average Indian is 26. All business is being brought to India. I'm telling you. Look it up.
India's still one of the poorest countries on earth. The reason they're doing
that don't matter. Look it up. Look it up.
Look it up.
Why do you think they're making such a mad dash towards Hong Kong? Why they're making such a mad dash towards Taiwan? Because they're aging themselves out.
They'll work for pennies. That's why, dude. It doesn't mean because
India's super smart. You're not getting it, man. You don't hear what I just said. What's the average age of a Chinese man? 35.
So they
What's the average age of an Indian man? 26. Yeah, okay, and China was just third world in the 80s, and they're now
No,
they're number one, number two.
they're number 2,
You
and
can't say that no
you
more about the third world country because
yeah,
we're in a
because
digital age now.
China
Everything happens fast.
okay,
It's
China
a
started
click of a button.
industrializing tens and tens
Yeah.
of years ago, and you think
No,
that we're going
they
to
were
start
a
catching
third
up.
world country on bicycles in the 70s. You can look it up. You can see videotape. You can see it.
I don't know
And then
if
by the 90s they came around. They're
Okay.
driving cars, and now look, they're 1 and 2,
they
dude.
industrialized. They industrialized, yeah.
Yes, and you're telling me India can't do that? Did you know that India's we'll say India's MIT? Do you know that they actually put out more engineers
Why are you
they're
screaming,
MIT
dude?
than what our MIT does? Did you know that more Indians, especially in mechanics and engineering, are hired than any other demographic? Did you know that?
Good.
They're not stupid, man. They're not stupid.
I'm not saying they're stupid.
You're
They're poor.
overlooking them. Yeah, for now, and that's slowly changing. Actually,
And
quickly,
how
to be
does this
honest.
make your point? Because India is going to be
It's not. I'm
Dude,
just saying, you gotta do like they're doing, man. You gotta build it here. Shit's gotta come back here.
Are you drinking?
I'm telling you, what's gotta happen. We can't keep
that's
selling
it.
our soul and
So
expect our dollars to stay up. It's just not gonna
You're
happen.
telling me how India is about to race us to manufacturing, and how you're not explaining.
No,
how
they're
Dude,
yes,
you can't
they're
keep
about to be the
interrupting
number
me.
one in
You can't
manufacturing.
keep
I bet
you
within the
can't
next
keep
10 to 15
interrupting
years.
me. You can't keep interrupting me. So you told me
I'm
how
just saying.
You're telling me how India is about to industrialize, but how are we
Yes,
going to
they're doing it
outpace
now.
Jesus fucking Christ.
They're
How
doing
are
it now.
we going to sell things to the rest of the world when India is next in line?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. How are we going? But that's how we're gonna. It's gonna have to start being started here, building stuff back here.
Okay, it's not gonna happen.
What's your guys' plan? How are you guys expecting us to do it?
Oh, well, we subsidize industries so that we can sell things to the rest of the world. Democrats do that.
Mm.
You know, like the Chips and
Sounds
Science
like
Act.
it sounds like you're putting a lot of your chips on someone else.
Well, we subsidize like manufacturing of microchips and EVs and bioengineering. We do all of that stuff, and the world will buy that from us. But you guys want us to start making like plastic shit and Nikes and shirts, which is dumb.
What?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Well, Trump is tariffing those things, right? Because he wants to compete with China.
Yeah, I mean, we already know this. They took those tariffs away.
No, they're 30%
they took them back.
right now. Did he make a mistake?
They've already come to an agreement. They're not. Last I seen it was like 65%.
There's no agreement. It's 20 and 30, and it'll take years for him to finish negotiating this. So until then, we're gonna be paying those tariffs so Daddy Trump can collect tax dollars from you and give his rich friends tax breaks.
Well, I mean, it's better than leaving fucking 50 to $100 billion worth of our military equipment to a country that we just got a war with. I mean, I guess
I don't know what
if
that
we
means.
really want to point fingers, why do we do that?
Are you talking about Afghanistan? Because Trump propagandized you guys to think that we just left stuff there for people.
Yeah. Dude, you're crazy.
Yeah,
you're crazy.
I'm the one who I read the report.
Sean Ryan. So he's lying. So Sean Ryan's lying, right? He's a former Navy SEAL.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
He's lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy. Dude's lying. Was over there getting families out of Afghanistan.
We leave stuff.
He's lying.
We decommission it all the time. So yes, some grunt on the ground doesn't know the intel workings.
You're
of the
out
military.
of your mind, dude. You're out of your mind.
I know that
you're out of your mind.
I know that you don't know much, but I've read all these reports.
You don't sound like you know very much.
Okay, it was $17 billion left in Afghanistan, and those are things that we gifted the Afghan government, the ANA, over the course of 20 years. How much do you know?
That was a propaganda number, dude. 17 billion? You're crazy.
Okay, and what do you?
You know how many airplanes they left over there? 17 billion.
Every one of them. Every one of them decommissioned.
No.
Oh,
I don't believe that at all.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna believe a Navy SEAL before I believe you.
Okay,
so,
I don't believe.
Why would I? I mean,
I don't care how like awesome.
You're very hostile too, man. This is another reason why I don't like talking to Democrats. You guys are so like, it's like you guys want to hurt.
We want to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you guys always come with like venom. It's no wonder nothing can get talked out. I started this conversation off pretty. I mean, I was
Dude,
very
you've been
cordial with
yelling for the
you,
last
but
10
the entire
minutes.
time I feel like you've just been spitting venom, man.
You're just, dude, you're literally yelling at
Yeah,
me.
what? I'm what?
You're
I'm
yelling.
what?
You're yelling.
I'm not yelling. I've been very cordial with you this whole
My
time.
ears are bleeding.
Yeah, and I'm slowly dying. The venom you spit, my man. Chill, bro.
Hey, I'll take it as a compliment.
But this is what we need to do more. I mean, no matter what, right or left, Americans, we need to come together.
Okay,
It don't matter if we and to say all this, man. I was a huge Democrat for fucking years, dude. I was blue all the way.
You're right. We need
over the last few years, it's not been. Dude, I've been seeing shit from the blue that I don't like.
I love this idea.
I don't think it's American.
I love this idea. I don't know. Trump is antithetical to the Constitution, but let's come together. Let's see who's a champion of us coming together. I want to read you a Truth Social post from Trump. Let's just
he was a Democrat, right, for 40 years.
That doesn't mean anything.
And then in 2002, he said if I was going to run, I'd run Republican because I would actually have a chance.
He used to have Democratic beliefs
Isn't that
too.
weird?
He used to be pro-choice. He used to not care about trans people in bathrooms. Yeah, and he's totally flip-flopped to get your vote. You're right.
I mean, do you care about men playing in women's sports? Because I sure as fuck do. I don't think that's right.
All 10 of them? In a league of 510,000, there's 10. Less than 10.
What?
Trans
don't matter. Any sport.
Okay.
The only sport that I would say that you could do it would be like anything that doesn't include physical. I mean, women fighting men.
All right.
Men that were once women. We'll say women that were once men fighting women. I don't like that.
Here's Trump's Truth Social post. Happy Easter to all, including radical left lunatics who are fighting and scheming so hard. Is this somebody who's going to unite us? Is that what you're talking about?
You guys did kind of send the FBI after him, so I'd be pretty pissed off too. Why would I want to be friends with you guys?
Mentally insane, well-known MS gang members, wife beaters, back to work.
Yeah, country. Why would I be friends with you guys? You guys did kind of send the FBI after him, so why would I be friends with you?
You admit that Trump is being divisive there?
Huh?
You admit that Trump's being divisive there?
Is Trump's what device?
Being divisive. Trump is being divisive. We are not going to come together. We have a leader that talks like
yeah.
that.
Do I believe he's got a huge chip on his shoulder right now? 100%. They sent the FBI after him, dude.
Dog,
I would too be pissed. And this is after Hillary could have got put in jail for Benghazi, the whole 13,000 pages of Benghazi. Or how about Hunter Biden's laptop? That's kind of weird. That all went away.
Nothing burger. There was no indictments on that.
Huh? Yeah, he's only doing business in the Ukraine, and then old Daddy Joe is getting the top skimmed off. Yeah, real mob-like, huh?
That was
what Democrats
his
have always
uncle. That was
done.
never proven. There was no wrongdoing ever.
Oh yeah, right. Same as like the cocaine wasn't in the White House neither.
Yeah, it was just in a guest cubby.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in a guest cubby.
Do you know some cool deal about Democrats? Did you know that they're the ones that started the Jim Crow laws? Isn't that weird?
The conservative ones, yeah.
Or how like, how like it was like Republicans.
Was Jim Crow? Was it a
Lincoln? Right? Lincoln. He got rid of the slaves. Isn't that crazy?
I know you want to take credit for liberal ideas, but those were conservative ideas.
Liberal.
Yeah.
Liberal.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys are gonna cut my throat when I shake your hand, and I'll go turn around and shake another. You're gonna stab me in the back.
Let me help you out.
What you guys have always done.
Let me help you out. Was
go ahead, man.
The party that wanted to keep things the same, wanted to use the Bible to justify slavery. Do you think that was a conservative movement or a liberal movement? Tell me.
It was definitely the Republicans who freed the slaves.
Okay, I don't care about what they were called. Was it a liberal or conservative movement?
It was the Republicans who got rid of slavery in America.
Who flies the Dixiecrat flag right now? Whose rallies do you see the Dixiecrat
flag? That's another one, the Dixiecrats. The Dixiecrats, 1940, right? 1940 to 1945? Yeah, they were also Democrats.
What?
Isn't that weird?
That's not the Dixiecrats.
They're the ones who are the grandfathers of Jim Crow. It's nuts, dude.
You are insane.
But you guys want to bring everyone together.
Okay.
And that's crazy.
Can you see my stream right now?
No.
Okay. Well, if you
I'm talking on the phone.
You would see all of these Trump rallies where there's a Trump flag, and the
Yeah.
Confederate flag right next to each other. All these, it's so weird how that works.
Yeah, I bet there's also a bunch of black people there too.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Oh yeah, you don't know if that's true or not. Oh, you can sure look at a picture, but you can't see if there's any black people in the crowd.
Yeah, only 10% of black
Crazy.
people vote Trump. I will go ahead and drop you, Trisha. Thank you so much. Is it Trisha? Trisha, thank you so much. Homie can't stop talking. Yeah, thank you for the $40 for the kick. That guy was really flailing it there towards the end. But yeah, it just turns out that you guys want so badly to not be on the side that did this, but history's inevitable. There was a thing called the party switch, and it was y'all, not us. It was the South. It's a hard cope for us to say that the party switch didn't happen. It's pretty crazy. Huge cope. Hello? Lolly?
Hello.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Okay, what do you like about Trump?
Everything. And he's also not Kamala.
All right, what does everything include?
Well, you were talking a few minutes ago, for example, about the tariffs and what's going on over in China, how they can manufacture things cheaper. I noticed you were cherry picking on that issue.
Okay.
So you were talking about Nike. How's that?
What was I cherry picking?
Well, a couple of things, yeah. So here in the United States, for the past several years, there's been this movement to try to give the unskilled laborers in the entry-level jobs a living wage, no matter how small the job is. But it seems like people like you don't care about the fact that the people in China are being exploited and basically earning slave labor wages. They're getting paid $3 to $4 an hour over there. So you don't factor.
It's largely changed, and it also doesn't matter because their cost of living is much lower.
No, it's not so low where they can get by on $3 to $4
yes,
an
they can.
hour.
How much homelessness is there in China?
Oh, so that's another thing. The homelessness issue, what they do is they take the homeless people and they move them out of the cities into the rural areas so people don't have to deal with it.
And what I'm saying is it's developed so much in the last 20 years that if you don't like that, we can keep doing business with them so that they can pull themselves out of that, right? It's much better than it was 20 years ago, right?
So what's happening is Democrats like you, they do all this virtue signaling about, oh, we have to take care of people. We have to make sure that people aren't poor, as long as they're here in the United States. But if they're outside of the country, screw them, exploit them.
That's not true. So there is one side that has been trying to go against child labor laws and raise minimum wage. That is the left. And the right is completely doing the opposite. So you guys are the virtue signalers, not us.
No, now you've got it all backwards. And then a few minutes ago, you were also talking about Nike shoes. Like, why would we bring Nike shoe manufacturing back to the United States?
Yeah, why?
Well, in all fairness, you might have a point on that. But you're doing is you're cherry picking the industries. So, for example,
that's what we need to do. We need to be selective on what industries, because we have a 4% unemployment. We have 7 million open jobs. We're not dying for jobs. And for you guys to pretend like there's no jobs out there is fucking silly, dude. Yes, we can be very selective. I would rather produce microchips than fucking textiles. I think USA will never make them cheaper than China. Why would we even try? Why do you guys want to try that?
Yeah. So, for example, I think I've heard in the news that Honda Corporation, in light of the tariffs, are now considering moving some factories back to the United States.
There you go.
Which is
Cars. Yeah, that's better than plastic. That's better than shoes. It's better than clothes, right?
Okay, so then I guess what we can agree upon is that there's a lot of people out there who are so divided on this issue, but what they're doing is they're not looking at the big picture. So all the Democrats, maybe not you, but all the Democrats saying tariffs are bad across the board, and a lot of Republicans are saying tariffs are good across the board, and maybe it's not so black and white.
There's no economist that says tariffs are good across the board.
Well, I didn't say that. I said the Democrats right now are all saying that, just the general people. They're
blanket
saying
tariffs
that
are bad. Blanket tariffs are bad. Targeted tariffs are fine. Protect industries.
Right.
That's what they're meant to do. Trump's using them for war. Trump's using them for economic war.
But we don't see the Democrats making that argument that targeted tariffs could be a good thing. We just hear them saying tariffs are bad all the way across the board.
I guess if you want to straw man our position, sure. But I've had to do this argument for 6 months, maybe 8 months now. And every single person has come like, if tariffs are bad, how come Joe Biden increased tariffs? And my response was always that targeted tariffs are good. Blanket tariffs are fucking dumb. They're horrible.
Right. And but the other thing is, there's also been a history of other countries who have been applying blanket tariffs to the United States, whether it's an outright tariff or in the form of VATs.
Oh, value-added tax. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
It's a sales tax, bro.
Yeah, I understand that. But see here, but everyone's VATs are higher than the United States because what they do, a value-added tax, it goes from the very bottom all the way to the top. It incorporates everything. Here in the United States, we don't have a federal sales tax. It's just done state by state. And on average, each state probably maybe about 5% of a sales tax. If you look at the VATs from foreign countries, it's much higher than that.
So you're saying you want to pay taxes on items now?
No, what I'm saying is part of the strategy that Trump is employing here is including the fact that these foreign countries have been applying VATs, which are much higher than ours. So he's just trying to level the playing field a little bit.
So you want to put so you're cheering him on raising taxes because we've had free trade and you prefer not to.
He's just leveling the playing field.
That's fucking dumb. That is not leveling the playing field.
Okay, and then getting back, so what about us getting back to the, well, I don't know if we need to discuss this, but the targeted tariffs. So another thing is pharmaceuticals. China makes a lot of pharmaceuticals, and we need to be more independent making our own pharmaceuticals. We don't want to be dependent on foreign countries, particularly unfriendly ones like China.
So all of this is magically all going to happen at once, and it's all going to happen within a time frame where we're not going to have to pay these tariffs? Or do you admit that we're going to be paying tariffs for 5, 10, maybe even 15 years before any of this even comes to start like be manufacturing? And not to mention, they're not going to have any competition. If we're going to hide behind all these tariffs, we're going to no competition. They're just going to be selling us these extremely expensive things behind these tariffs that no other country will be buying from us. We're not going to be buying any of this shit because it's going to be more expensive than China, like you admit, that we have to use tariffs to start competing with China. Right?
Well, here's another thing. Trump seems like he's thought this out to some extent.
He's fucking put them up and taken them down 6 times now. What do you mean he's thought this out?
Can I finish my sentence?
Go ahead.
Without you interrupting me? Okay. So another thing that Trump is he's suggesting is that he restructure the tax plan. What he's proposing is, and if he makes good on his promise, he wants to make it so that if you make less than $200,000 a year, there's no income tax for you. That
is a pipe dream. You're going to be paying tariffs rather than income tax. That's what you're going to do. And if you think that tariffs are going to cost less than income tax, I've got news for you, man. That's not the case.
It balances out.
It doesn't balance out. It is going to unfair. It is going to be taxing the lower and middle class more than upper class. So what he's doing is, in a tricky way, having you pay more taxes, and just just making it harder for us to trade. So trade will slow down. When you put a tariff in between us and the people we trade with, it slows down trade. So we're going to have a less free market. We're going to have less innovation. We're going to be shooting ourselves in the foot, and you're cheering him on for this.
Okay, nothing's perfect in this world. So what he's trying to accomplish through these tariffs is by bringing some manufacturing back to the States. He's also trying to make sure that we're more dependent on certain industries, like I said, pharmaceuticals, which is also a good thing. And he's trying to balance that out by, like I said, suggesting that he revise the tax plan. So it's not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction.
It's a step in the wrong direction. What we did when Joe Biden was in office is we subsidized industries that we want to manufacture things. So instead of like bullying everybody with tariffs and instantly becoming not allies with all of our allies and becoming part of a trade war, Joe Biden just subsidized things like microchips and EVs. And now we have people who are venture capitalists going, you know what? Hey, if we start to manufacture microchips, we should be racing to these subsidies and applying for them and starting to build manufacturing centers. And that's what happened.
We didn't need to do that. We didn't need to
That's
do
what.
that. So
Guess what?
no,
Nobody lost their jobs. Nobody slowed down trade. People didn't get thrown out of small businesses because of this. We didn't fuck with the
it's just
country's
okay.
revenue.
So the
We didn't shrink our
EVs,
GDP. We simply just subsidized it.
statistically,
It was
the
painless.
EVs are much more expensive cars that the upper classes are buying, not the poorer classes. So these
Not
tax
inherently.
incentives for the EVs for the past 10 years have primarily been benefiting the rich people. So there you go.
Okay,
And
but
we don't need
that's
to
not.
subsidize.
That doesn't have to be the
we don't
case. If we industrialized EV
we
at a
don't
much
need to
higher
subsidize
rate,
microchips.
yes, we do.
That industry is doing fine on its own.
You realize it's because Joe Biden, right?
No.
For right now, we are 10% of the world's microchip manufacturing. In 10 years, we're projected to be 20% because of Joe Biden.
If you want to talk about Joe Biden, we can also talk about his excessive spending policies and waste. And that's another reason.
I would love to. Let's talk about
That's
it.
another
How much
reason why I
did Trump?
support Trump.
How did Trump? Okay, Trump spent $8.3 trillion and Biden spent 4.4. Who spent more?
Okay, so a lot of that you're talking about is probably in relation to the COVID package deals that we had to pass.
Okay, so four trillion of that was COVID. Trump still spent 4.6 trillion non-COVID. Biden spent 2.2 non-COVID. Who spent more, bro?
Okay, so you have to factor all this in. How do you know where the money? How do you know how the money was spent?
Because
so, for example,
because there's a breakdown.
No, because so Trump gets elected the first time, right? When he's Trump 45, and he takes over from the previous president, who was Obama, right? Well, how do we know, for example, that Obama didn't incur all of these expenses and then they weren't paid and they get shipped over to
Because we're looking at
Trump?
approved debt. We're not looking at how much the actual deficit or debt was. We're looking at approved debt, things that Trump put his signature on to approve more spending.
No, it's more complicated than
It
that.
is
You can't
not.
just go.
It is not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. I'll show you.
So look at the problems that Biden has done with regard to how he's mismanaged the economy. So we're learning, for example,
you can't substantiate that. Biden did
Sure.
fantastic. I want you to look at the screen. I want you to look at the screen. I want you to look at the screen, and I want you to tell me who spent more. You see this?
That's meaningless to me. I don't know where these figures came from. Who incurred
show
what
you.
debt?
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Did Obama incur those debts?
No, these are all the things that make up that debt. You see all these policies: Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, 1.9 trillion, Bipartisan Budgets Act, 2018, 2019, 2.1 trillion, where he fucking pumped $2 trillion in the military. That was Trump. ACA tax delays. So basically, he let people not pay bills for their taxes for like 5 years or something, and it basically it synthetically increased his GDP. And then other legislation, new increased tariffs, the CARES Act, that's COVID responsibility. So it's all itemized out there. So for you to just throw like doubt out there and poison the well, that's on you, bro. That's you coping. This is the math. This is what it comes down to. For you to even think that Biden outspent Trump is a complete lie. It's complete misinformation. You're wrong.
It also depends the level of waste too. Okay, it's not just dollar per dollar spending. So let's talk about, for example, do you support Biden and the student debt relief where he canceled out $188 billion?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So that's waste right there. And why would you agree with that?
There are countries that pay for entire college for their constituents, and those countries do better economically than us. And what happened was when people were struggling with COVID and they had to make their $200, $300, $500, $600 monthly payments to their school loans, not having to do that gave them expendable income to pay for groceries and to subsidize the economy so they can go out and put places back in businesses. I know we have a different system. I'm not saying what is.
There's a
I'm
lot
saying
of people
what
here,
ought
for example,
to be.
who will go to college on paper just so they can sign up for their FAFSA and take the money and run.
Okay, I don't know what you're going to say. If you're going to demonize like the few people who may abuse something, then sure.
No, there's
but
plenty of people who do that.
I think that national security heavily relies on our education, and I can prove that through just letting you watch all the debates I have with these people.
What about the extreme progressive leftist majors that are worthless degrees? And we know what I'm talking about.
No degree's worthless.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, tell me a degree that's worthless.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you've had this conversation with people before.
Tell me a
like
degree
things like
that's worthless.
Gender studies, racial inequality, those kind of things.
So
You can't get
gender studies,
no.
one of the biggest things that came out of gender studies recently is we were studying the effects of gender affirming care and the transmission of HIV, and that was something that was used as propaganda to sway elections in other people's favors, probably someone on your side, and we disproved that. And things like this have a huge impact on our culture. So pretty much 100% of people who voted MAGA have no idea that gender is just a social construct, and they're being dragged around by the nose because they don't know this. They think that people who are trans are evil or confused or crazy, when it's a real condition, and we can reduce the suicidality rate of people that suffer from this by giving them gender affirming care. But you guys think it's too icky,
Right.
and you want to outlaw it.
Right. So here we go. Okay, what you're doing is this is rule number 4 out of the liberal playbook, which is take the exception and make it the rule. I'm not saying or even suggesting that every single person who gets a degree in gender studies is worthless. What I'm saying is there's too many people taking it. So yeah, we don't, there's going to be a few people out there who are going to be hired for legitimate jobs, but no, we don't need hundreds or even thousands of people with gender studies degrees doing think tanks on every other street corner next to every McDonald's restaurant. This is a
if you want to talk about playbooks, all right, this is actually out of the fascism playbook for you to undermine higher education. That is part of the fascism playbook.
Okay, and here's the thing. Here's one. What about this? One of the most popular majors throughout the entire United States is, drum roll please, psychology. Everybody, so psychology is a non-degree for people who don't know, who are just going to college for the college experience, and they think they need to get a degree in something. So why don't we just make it psychology? So, throughout the United States, there's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if a million people.
Figuring out how people's brains work is totally pointless. For you to be completely,
no, I'm not saying it's pointless.
For you to be completely blind to how you're being manipulated, I don't know. Maybe you shaming people who do this is very ironic, man.
It's for people who have, from the overwhelming majority. Here we go. Don't take the exception to make it the rule. Yes, there are some people who are legitimately going to use those degrees, but like 95% of them, just like, 2 years after graduating with their psych degree, they're working as a barista somewhere. So no, they don't have any direction. Do we really need each year, every single year, do we need 1 million or 2 million new psychology degrees? I mean, seriously, what a waste that is.
Yeah, okay. People become therapists, psychologists. I don't know why you would demonize people studying the art of how the mind works.
I'm not saying, again, on baby bathwater.
That's not the exception to the rule. You are the one demonizing the entire group of people when I'm showing you blatantly the value in all of these things. You are demonizing higher education, and it is fucking stupid.
So many people who have had degrees, for example, in psychology and other degrees, and they graduate their degrees.
And I know just as many who have great jobs.
Right. And I would say probably at least 80% of them, if they have jobs, are working jobs that have nothing to do with their degree.
Okay, and I know plenty of them who have great jobs just because they have a degree. It doesn't matter what it is. 80% of people who have a degree don't use it for the exact thing they want, but it shows that you can stay on track and complete a task and commit to something for a long period of time and use critical thinking and do your own research, which is not something that a lot of MAGA show.
And just because you graduate from college doesn't make you smart or smart at all or smarter.
No, it shows all the things I just listed, though, doesn't it?
What's that?
It shows that you can commit to higher learning, complete long-term tasks, commit to critical thinking, do your own research.
No.
Yes, all of those things are required to complete any degree.
No. College these days is just an extension of high school, and high school is anybody. They're graduating anybody from high school these days.
Oh, okay, bro. Except for high school, you don't pay to go. You can just flunk out. They don't hold you They don't hold you responsible. They don't hold you accountable for not going. No,
it's really hard to flunk out.
It's real. I flunked out.
You flunked out of high school?
Of college.
Okay, two different things. I don't know how you managed to do that.
So now they're different?
Well, okay. Remember the college admission scandal a few years ago? Remember that?
I don't, but somebody paid to kick you. Yes, the reason college is expensive in the first place is because of Reagan, the guy who fucked up the United States more than any one person, maybe other than Trump. Who paid Alexis? That guy needs a psychologist for this boot looking. I know. Guys, imagine demonizing higher education. You're right, guys. We should all be fucking dumber than our adversary nations. We should all be dumber than them. That would make way more sense. That would make us way better than them. God damn, dude. What? Yellow.
How you
Hello.
doing, Pickles?
What's up? Phil, thank you for the donation. A little nugget of info. Phil says psychology graduates grew from 73,000 to 123,000 in 2020. And we barely added over 2 decades, not adjusting for retirees. Yeah, the same people also say that we need to figure out about why there are so many people being diagnosed with autism, even though we're making breakthroughs in all of these things and are able to diagnose more people than ever. We've barely added over 2 million, 2 decades, not adjusting for any retirees during that time. Oh, that's not a lot at all. Out of a nation of 350 million people, we could use more. And yeah, I don't know. If you want to get down to the root cause of school pew-pews and the mental health problem in this nation that you guys always say we have, and it's not a gun problem, I think psychology is pretty important. What's up, Lazy River?
And I just want to say enjoy your stuff and yeah, just keep preaching and doing your thing. And just one other thing I want to bring up is Trump has a history of breaking all these deals up and breaking them out, saying how great they are, and nothing happens. Just look at Foxconn in Wisconsin. It's supposed to have been 13,000 jobs, maybe over 1,000 has been created for the last 8 years. So he can, say all he wants, but at the end, that's what's going to count, and it's going to come down to really nothing. He has a track record of it. So people need to notice that and see that, but people are just being blind to it.
Yeah. Well, thank you
again.
W Lazy River. Ugh. Kicked him because he was right. No, I kicked him because I got paid $40 to kick him. Dude, when you start demonizing higher education, you're the mark. You are the person that they paid millions and millions of dollars to sway your opinion to be more controllable, to be somebody who can't critically think for themselves. For you to demonize psychology when you're obviously being manipulated by Trump is insane to me. It's so insane. Oh my God. Heavens to Betsy. We need to unplug. Yeah, it needs a hard reset. He pivoted a lot too. Yeah, I know. I cornered him on a lot of stuff, and he broke ankles there. What's up? How are you, Telex?
Good. I wanted to say that I had to get rid of him because as soon as he went after the people that save all of my veterans' lives and stuff, he had to go, right?
Yeah.
Because psychologists save people's life, and for them, so we have a saying whenever we go to see psychologists. A lot of people go to see psychologists because they're dealing with people who should be going to see psychologists.
Yeah.
And that I'll leave it at that and let people come up here and demonize people that are doing a lot of hard work and dealing with a lot of things that nobody else does. It's wild to me. But and for you, I you know, my that's my little addition to you in case you need to go see psychologists periodically to dealing with these guys. You know, a little tribute to you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure one day I will give some good trauma dumping to a psychologist and honor them with
Well,
my shenanigans.
we love you and stay at it.
Well,
Have
I
a
love
great
you.
day.
Love you guys back. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Guys, again, demonizing college because it's so expensive, blame Reagan. Blame Reagan. Reagan did not want an educated populace because you're easier to control. He said that we need to be careful about who we educate. He was mostly talking about people of color too. He was like, what are these people protesting the government? Look at the skin tone. Like, we need to make it to where those impoverished communities have a harder time getting higher education because this is getting out of hand. I don't like this. That's what Reagan did. And then Donald Trump like defunded the Department of Education, and then you guys cheering him on is it was so dystopian for you guys to do that and then say it's okay for him to fuck with Harvard and Columbia University. They're like, listen, we just want the federal government out of the schools. And then Trump's like, hey, I'm the federal government fucking with universities. They go, yeah, we like that too. Oh my God. Make it make sense, chat. Yeah, and every single one of these politicians who say college is a joke, guess what? They're all college educated. All of them. JD Vance, Trump, supposedly. All of them. Yeah, they're kids too. Yeah, Barron Trump, you think he's going to college, right? Why is he going to college? Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. What's up?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to put in a little bit more into your conversation, if that's okay. What I think, what I've learned is that because people of my generation, Gen X and younger, don't have the ability to have the same lifestyle or like making so much money as their parents did, have a good quality of life like their parents did, they're looking for anything to blame other than rich people, right? So they're looking to blame the government. They're looking to blame trans people or people from Latin America or black people or whatever. They're just looking and being manipulated into looking for those things to blame when really it is the transfer of wealth from the people to the very, very rich. So that's just something that I think about and I just thought I'd share.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Yeah, they're robbing us blind. If I swear to God, if MAGA could do math or if they trusted news sources, they'd be extremely upset about what Trump's doing with their taxes. They'd be real upset. What am I playing Final Fantasy VII again? Dude, we have some Some Final Fantasy VII fans in here. I kind of want to play tonight. You guys down to watch me play some Final Fantasy VII tonight? Those making 15,000 or less will see a tax increase of 74%. There's some people who really hate me gaming too. People think that no tax on tips and overtime is going to outweigh the insane tariffs that they're making. First of all, the no tax on tips, the stipulation is that it can't be on payroll. So, like, if it's a cash tip, which nobody pays taxes on cash tips right now anyway, he just gave that back. It's the same thing. No tax on overtime. We'll see if they even allow overtime. Trump's federal judges have been striking down rights for people to attain overtime after a certain amount of wages or a certain amount of hours. And also, the tariffs are going to outweigh by far how far our dollar goes. So, for instance, if these tariffs go off like with the 30% mark or the 20% mark from the EU, imagine I spent for instance, last month, I spent about $3,000 on Amazon. Add 30% to that. That's what, $1,000? So now what you normally would cost $3,000 costs $4,000. Do that every month. That's $12,000 a year. Does anybody here pay $12,000 fucking dollars a year in taxes? At my level of income, I don't make that much money, guys. I don't think so. That's what Trump's pulled the old Kansas City shovel. For those of you who can't do fucking math, that's more money in taxes. Fucking brain dead. No one here buys $3,000 on Amazon. Well, I buy my groceries through Amazon too. Hello?
Hello, what's up? I actually had an interesting subject I wanted to discuss. I'm not particularly a Trump supporter. I'm more of a centrist, but like
Okay.
So price mandates for the medical industry. There's been an issue with that where it kind of contributes to the cost of medical, well, partially, not completely, that's not all of it, but partially contributes to medical prices in the United States. How would you feel about a global price mandate for all countries in the world to help achieve like healthcare as a whole for all countries that's affordable?
That'd be nice, but what I see happening with Trump's mandate is what they'll do is they're just going to increase prices in certain countries so they don't have to reduce them here because we're the biggest consumer.
Yep, which is why I don't agree with the way Trump's doing it. I think the best way to do it would to have everyone sit down, like obviously the main countries, so like everyone involved in the EU, people we're allies with, and try to work together. Like, hey, what price mandate would work for all of us to keep healthcare prices down so we can have affordable healthcare, but also pharmaceutical companies can still make a stable income? I didn't know how you felt about that. I thought that'd be an interesting subject to discuss.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we would have to see like more of a detailed breakdown on that. But yeah, I think the way I don't like anything that Trump's trying to do. Trump's trying to rule by executive order. I think what we should do is get things passed through Congress so that they're law. They're not just something to be torn up in 4 years, and B, like something that actually says, hey, we're trying to protect consumers instead of I don't know, rip off other countries. Like what he's doing is going to start raising prices of medicine in other countries.
Oh no, I agree. and that's kind of what's happened with us also. That's why I don't particularly agree with the way he's done it. Because one of the reasons why we have higher prices in America is because other countries put price mandates that sometimes, not all countries do it, that end up lowering prices in their countries to the point where the pharmaceutical companies don't really turn a profit. And then what they do is then go to the American pharmaceutical market and then charge more to make up the lost money in these other countries. I think the best way to go about a mandate as a whole throughout the world would be everyone to work together instead of everyone doing separate mandates.
Yeah, I agree. Someone says we can get ripped off, but that's fine. Guys, if you don't like the idea of getting ripped off, welcome to the left. Welcome to the Democrat Party. We're the ones who don't like price gouging. We've been fighting for this. We've been negotiating fucking prices of medicine for the last 4 years with Medicare. And that's the leftist policy. And you guys called that communism, remember? Anyway, thank you, Dons.
Yeah, I thought it was a good subject to bring up.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming up, dude.
Yep. Oh, yep. Appreciate it, man.
All right. So we need to pay more so others don't. Guys, we were on track to do this. This is what the left does. We write laws like that, and we're called communist and demonized back and forth. You guys believe in fair market, like free market. You guys believe in unfettered capitalism. You guys beg to get ripped off. You guys want HIV patients to be paying like 25 grand a month for medication to live. That's what you guys want. We've been fighting that forever. Before Trump, we were considered a joke. Literally, nothing but polls that show Trump being less respected than Biden. There's Pew Research has one. Trump is not respected by any country that's not authoritarian. Hungary respects Trump, Israel, and I think there's like one more. Every other country on earth respects Biden more. I think by twice as much. El Salvador, yeah, probably. Anyway, we're losing views right now. Did someone just go live? I guess Dean just went live. Yeah. He looks respected to me. Even though they have parades. They have parades with Donald Trump in diapers in other countries. They have they literally were in the streets rioting and protesting Trump's inauguration around the world. You just nothing to see here. Appreciate you, Francisco. Pickles, can you please bring Bo whatever up? He's annoying. Yeah. Dean's been live for hours. I might be restarting here soon. Liberals cry and complain all the time. Guys, you guys cried for 4 years about losing an election and then cried about grocery prices and egg prices. And when Trump came in and increased grocery prices on day one, you cheered him on and you said, that don't bother me none. Hello.
What's up, my guy?
What's up? What do you like about Trump?
What do I like about Trump? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm loving the new tax cuts.
Do you make over $360,000 a year?
No.
Then you didn't get a tax cut, bro.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
I can just show you the math.
Well, which tax bracket are you in, bud?
The lowest.
You only make $11,000 a year?
Sure.
Because that's tax bracket number one. They're the only ones they're the only ones with no change.
Okay. Here's the math right here, bud. In fact, it's worse than this.
I got I know the tax brackets.
Okay. So everybody on the left of this, in the yellow,
tax bracket number one goes from zero to 11,000.
It's 0 to 28,000.
That's for married couple. That's for married.
Okay. Look at this
Let's
chart.
go single. Let's do the single.
This is every single one of these tax brackets on the left have an increase in tax liability, and everyone on the right making $360,000 or more. Let's go
with the single. See, you're trying to sugarcoat. We already know what you're doing here, bud.
All right, single or married. Still,
What's
this
single?
is what Trump is doing on average. This is what Trump is doing on average.
What's the finances for
Are you married or
single
single?
one?
Are you married or single?
I'm single.
Okay, so you might
Mine
have less of a liability.
From 0 to 11,925 is bracket one.
Okay.
Bracket two is 11,926.
Okay.
To 4875.
Okay.
They got a 3% cut.
Okay, and then
bracket number three,
and then they had SALT deductions removed, right? And they had all these
bracket
other things.
Number three.
You can't blow past this, right?
Has a 3% cut.
Okay, and what
bracket
liabilities?
Bracket 4 has a 4% cut.
All right, Bo, you can't steamroll.
Bracket 5 has a 3% cut.
Okay, you're good. Okay, and then what was the increase on tariffs? What do they have to pay there?
On tariffs?
Yeah.
On our tariffs?
Yeah.
It depends on what product, and certain products are. Some products aren't tariff.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Some products aren't tariff, bud.
Okay, all right. So you take
what products are tariffed?
All products from China, all of them.
All of them. What's that tariff? 10%?
30. What?
Or 30%? Excuse me, 30%. Yep, you're right. They're 10% on us.
So if you buy all of your groceries from Walmart, and that's maybe what, $1,000, $2,000 a month?
Yeah. What's going on with Walmart right now?
Their prices are going up.
They're tariffing U.S. made goods. Aren't they under scrutiny right now because of that?
No, that does happen. So there's collateral increases in items that aren't even tariffed because that's how markets work.
Oh, so that's how markets work. Well, isn't Donald Trump combating that as we speak right now?
On Truth Social or what?
Well, we got to give it a little time to write up a little bit of legislation on it, my guy.
So now he's gonna start capping prices like you called Kamala.
No, he's gonna make it so they can't inflate the market with American-made goods.
Okay.
Price up American-made goods because
it sounds like price control to me.
Tariff.
Sounds like price control to me. Are you communist?
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, bud.
Well, that's why you guys voted against Kamala, isn't it?
What's that?
Isn't that why you guys voted against Kamala?
No, Kamala wanted capital gains tax, bud.
And she wanted to do price cap. She wanted to do price gouging, anti-price gouging laws.
So now you guys are bitching about combating price gouging.
No,
you guys do
everything
Trump does. You bitch about it.
Trump is inflating the price of everything and then
Trump is inflating. Okay, how much revenue have we brought in from the tariffs?
Let me guess. You're going to say $2 billion a day. Is that what you're going to say?
No, we're standing right now at like 49 billion total for the year.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. It's more like 250 million a day.
250 million per day. Exactly. Yeah. Add that up. Where are we at?
That does not make $49 billion, my friend.
49 billion year to date, bud. Year to date, as of right now.
Oh my
250 million a day. That's $1 billion a week.
And how many weeks have these been in place, bro?
Dude. Watch this. Hold on. I'm gonna bring it up. I suppose CFRB and all them are lying, right? I suppose the government. I love
that you trust CFRB.
Government house.gov is lying too as well, right?
47 billion in revenue from tariffs this year. 47% increase in compared. So, all right, it is 47 billion.
Yeah, like I said.
Okay, and that's a tax increase, right?
It's a revenue. Also, we got a tax decrease, though, right? Didn't we as well?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. We're gonna have one.
So you're paying extra taxes right now?
A little bit.
And prices of things are increased, right?
Because what's the best part about it is all the prices have went down. Maybe not in California. You guys are paying like $7 a dozen for eggs because the place a dumpster fire.
I'm in Texas.
Okay, well then Texas, you're probably paying a good price then. If you're in California, you're definitely not. Because I know in New York, a lot of my stuff's went down, bud. So
Okay.
things are going down, but you guys are saying prices are going up.
Prices will go up when inventory runs out.
See,
Yes.
I don't want to hear the what ifs. I don't want to hear what ifs.
It's
Have
just
they
math.
went up? No, they
It's
have
just
not.
math.
Have
So
they went up?
Walmart, yes, Walmart's prices have gone up. Yes.
Oh, because Walmart's price gouging, and what's happening? They're under scrutiny right
Walmart-
now because of it.
They're under scrutiny. You mean Trump's tweeting?
I will bet you there will be legislation by the end of the year passed on this,
Trump does not govern shit.
and I will
He writes
guarantee it'll be
executive orders.
bipartisan. I will guarantee it'll be bipartisan.
Okay. All right. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Welcome to the left. If you prefer to have
I will guarantee it.
anti-price gouging bills, welcome to the Democrat Party.
The best part about it is it's going to be a Republican that did it.
Yeah, he's going to raise
When
prices.
you guys
and
had
then,
4 years to do it.
okay,
You
so
guys had 4 years to
so-
do it. Of 4 years of mayhem in this country.
I want you to answer me this question. If tariffs are not going to increase prices of things, how the fuck would they ever work? How would they ever incentivize us to not buy things from China?
You don't
Go ahead and
think
tell
major
me.
corporations are going to eat some of that?
Go ahead and tell me. How is that? So
You
if
don't think major corporations are going to eat some of that money?
So if corporations eat that money, we'll still
They're gonna eat a
continue to
little
buy
bit of
from
it.
China?
I'm not buying shit from China. Most of my
Okay,
shit's
that's-
American made,
All
bud.
right. Bullshit.
Bullshit. I
Bullshit.
drive a Chevy. My tools are
Oh,
Snap-on.
You're Chevy. You drive a Chevy, so it's more like
it's a
Mexican.
Canada.
Yeah,
Excuse
it's more
me.
like Mexican, Canada, and German made,
Canada.
not American.
That's changing too, bud.
Oh, bud, you're Canadian.
I'm not Canadian.
Okay. Well, so
I live on the
you
Canadian
admit
border.
that even if it's Chevy
I live
made
on the
in
Canadian
America,
border.
do you think that everything from Chevy is made here too? Do you think the plastic goods
No, I
that
don't.
go
I
inside
don't.
of your
I
door
don't.
panel?
It's
do you think
it's sized with world goods.
Do you think the fucking
It's sized with world goods. I know this.
yeah. So you think that your Chevy's not going to go up in price?
They already are.
I know. Well, look
When
at
was
that.
the last time you bought?
Well, look at
When was
that.
the last time you bought a truck?
Oh, now it's all the
When was
same.
the last time you bought a truck?
Now it's all the same.
When was the last time you bought a truck?
I'm not. The anecdotes don't matter. Does it?
What did all the price? How did all the prices go up under Joe Biden?
Because because of labor what's it called? Supply chain shortages. Supply chain interruptions. Supply chain interruptions, yeah. So like when people were like dying and factories weren't like filled with laborers and people were trying to stop people from spreading a disease, we
And after that
lost
was
the
over-
smooth transition of like economic stuff and goods from other
What did the
countries and
Democratic
from from domestic
Okay.
policies. Yeah. So
After
we
all
have
the
all
stuff
of these
cooled
things
down,
slow down. It's almost like the same as like Trump when he puts tariffs in between everybody who trades. It's like the same thing. All of these things are going to be jacked up in price soon.
And what did you guys do to combat that, to try to get it to come back down? You did absolutely
we did the
nothing.
Inflation
The
Reduction
administration
Act.
sat on their ass.
We did the Inflation Reduction Act. We also injected money into the economy to make
The
people go out and
Inflation
spend
Reduction
money.
Act. Are you really going to say that?
Yeah. Did you know that
that's
every
a green bill? Dude.
every
You
month?
know that's a green bill.
Well, first of all, it paid
That
for
is a
itself,
green energy bill, dude. That
Yeah,
that
and
bill is wrongly
and it put
named.
people back to work, didn't it?
That bill is
It put
wrongly
people back to
named.
work.
That bill is wrongly named.
Okay, do you even know what it did?
Promoted a lot of green energy.
Okay, and what else? You don't know. You just know that one soundbite that they didn't name it the thing they wanted to. That's it.
What did they do to inflation?
They put people back to work and made the economy move again.
I thought the infrastructure bill did that.
Both of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, how well's that infrastructure bill working anyway, by the way?
56,000 projects alive and well
Yeah.
right now, making
How about
many jobs.
Where's the charging stations? Where are those all at?
Well, if you're still
How many of
referring-
them is there, by the way?
if you still think there's only 12, I've got news for you. There's much more now.
No, there's more. I know the number.
Yeah, so it's slowly developing. It's a 10-year process, right?
250 in 4 years. That's great. You're killing it.
It's great.
Knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Knocking it out of the park.
It's great.
You got about 499,000 more to go out of the 500.
It's a 10-year plan, right?
Well, we're 3 years in, and you're not even close to 1,000 yet.
Yeah. How many has Trump built?
So Well, Trump didn't pass a bill on it, bud. You guys did.
Yeah, didn't he promise to? Wasn't that one of his campaign promises to pass
It
infrastructure?
was 2.2 trillion, but Trump had one written up, but they couldn't figure out how to spend how to pay for it. Unlike printing money from the Joe Biden administration did.
Who do you think printed more money, Biden or Trump?
Oh, I'd have to look at stats.
Okay, it's Trump.
Probably at the end of Trump because of the 3.2 CARES Act, $3.2 trillion in CARES Act.
I don't think you know what printing money means.
I think I do with the Fed. Is it inflationary?
Yes.
Is it inflationary?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Trump printed $5 trillion. Biden printed $1.5 trillion. Trump spent $8.4 trillion. Biden spent 4.3.
Biden spent 4.3.
Yeah.
Well, what did he spend on the executive action then? On his executive action?
I don't know how much did Trump spend on his executive actions.
I don't know his. I know Biden's.
Okay. Well,
Biden spent $2 trillion.
Approved debt is $4.3 trillion.
Well, where's the 4.8 trillion in cumulative interest coming from then?
I don't know, but that's not approved debt.
I think where did you get your data?
The CRFB, the place you just quoted.
See, that's where you're wrong. You need to go to the House Budget Committee, bud.
Yeah, I know. There's a
that is bipartisan.
There's a no, it's not. There's a Republican that wrote a.
It's not.
There's a Republican.
There's as many Democrat in the committee as the Republicans.
I know. There's a Republican that published a page that I'm sure you would love to source, that cites executive actions that that changes in the budget, things so like medical care and all that stuff. And yeah, it's this weird like biased thing that spreads disinformation to save
really?
Trump's face. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like an 80-year-old wrote it. It's probably Rick Scott.
No. It's the whole committee, bud.
It was just one
Let me
person.
find it. Let me find it for you, bud.
I've already found it. I've already seen it.
That one right there. That one right there, buddy.
I've already seen
that
it.
one right there.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Who belongs to that? Who's in the Budget House Committee? Exactly. I think it's 12 Republicans and 12 Democrats. That means it's bipartisan.
Yeah, I'm sure they have to do bipartisan voting on who publishes to the website, huh?
And I'm sure they all read that before it was published, correct?
Sure. And the CRFB hasn't changed anything, right? They haven't changed anything on that website.
So who are you going to believe first?
The CRFB, nonprofit.
The Budget Committee.
I'm not going to
senators.
So people who get elected who are politicians or people who are nonprofit. I
so
believe the
Democratic politicians are going to allow this to go out.
How can they stop that?
They're part of the committee, bud. They're part of the same committee as the Republicans are, bud.
Yeah.
So 12 of your Democrats are going to allow this to come out and not say a word. I call your bullshit.
It was chaired by a Republican.
Yep.
And the ranking member was Brennan Boyle, who's a Democrat. And
yeah,
other members included Becca, Jack Bergman, Republican, Earls.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a half and half, but it was chaired by
yeah,
it
looks pretty good though, huh? Yeah, well, yeah. And what's that saying there?
Yeah, it's not a very good breakdown of how things were.
Yeah, it does. It good breaks it all down right there, bud. Put it up on the big screen then, big mouth.
There you go. Oh.
That ain't it, dude.
Hold on, I must press back. Here it is.
No, that ain't it, bud.
I know you want to see the House Committee. I was asking who was in the House, the Budget House.
No,
Committee.
I wanted to show that actual. PDF.
I already know what you're talking about. CRFB debunk. Fact check alert. Debunking. Blah,
that one right
blah,
there,
blah,
buddy.
blah.
That one right there, bud.
The fact check alert.
Oh, stop right there at the beginning.
Hold on, I want to read. I want to read who this is written by.
You're going to want to read it.
I've already read it. I've already read it.
That shows 11.2 trillion in Biden spending, bud. 4.8 in executive action, 2 trillion in legislative, and 4.8 over 10-year interest. Yes,
nice.
that's
they're counting interest on debt. It's such a reach, dude. We didn't do that to Trump and the CRFB. It's a nice try. It's a nice stretch. Let's check this out. Like $3 billion, ending Medicaid work requirements. And what they're saying is implemented an executive order that empowered Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to revoke state Medicaid waivers that allowed states to implement work requirements. So implementing work requirements for Medicaid. Where is it? You have asked the Congressional Budget Office to provide information about the cost of 8 executive actions taken by Biden administration, how they reflect in CBO's baseline projections. CBO's most recent projections were released May 2022. Administrative actions taken after the baseline was completed will reflect in future baselines. So for the purposes of CBO's current baseline projections, the 8 administration actions you asked to fall into a few categories. The efforts of the actions incorporated in CBO's May 2022 baseline. 3 actions were not included because insufficient information was available at the time to include the May 2022 baseline. The details of 2 of those actions were still being developed, which will affect the cost of their implementation. The budgetary effects of all 3 will be accounted for in future baselines. 1 action is not included. Baseline because its implementation costs are discretionary. Oh! Discretionary.
One little word, you're gonna cherry pick it. Come on, keep going.
Do you know what that means?
Keep going. Keep going.
What is the difference between discretionary and mandatory?
Discretionary is you don't have to show it if you don't want to, bud.
You don't have to spend it, right?
No.
Do you think it was spent?
Was it spent though? Was it spent?
Woo. You asked for executive effect on estimated net interest. Estimated net interest. In general, debt service costs would depend on timing of the change in deficits resulting in implementation of the action. The closer the change in deficits was the beginning of a 10-year projection period, the larger of the effect of debt service costs would be. For example,
see them interest rates rising?
Yeah, but this is not because of Biden's fault. It's because of COVID and they're combating
He signed
inflation.
the bill, bud. He signed it. He knew it was
Signed
going
a
to
bill
happen.
to increase. Okay, he literally spent 2.2 outside of COVID, and you're going to be like, oh my God, he spent so much. Trump spent 4.4 outside of COVID.
So
he literally
saying
reduced the amount of federal revenue we got from our.
You're sitting here saying he only spent 4.3. This says otherwise, bud.
Yeah. Well, it turns out if you read, it turns out if you
a
could
lot
read,
different.
If you could read, you would know that this
I
is
can.
It's
It says a
whole bunch
lot
of mumbo
different.
jumbo.
It says a lot
It turns
different,
out
and
this
you
doesn't
know it
want to
does.
say no. You're talking about discretionary spending. So, in fact, if they didn't spend all this, and if this was something that Congress was choosing to change in the budget has nothing to do with Biden.
I'll let you keep spending it.
I'm sorry. You have a headline, and I'm sitting here reading the fine print. It seems like this is the first time you've had this read to you. I'm not your fucking Mother Goose, bro. This is talking about the TFP, Thrifty Food Plan. The basket of foods selected by the Department of Agriculture to provide a nutritious diet for household of a particular size. TFP's price is determined by SNAP benefits. The department's reevaluation of TFP for 2022 contributed to an increase in those benefits for that year, largely as a result of the reevaluation. This is one of 3, yeah. CBO estimates that the combined effects of the reevaluation of the TFP, higher food prices account for an increase of $250 billion to $300 billion. So $50 billion because of inflation, I'm assuming. CBO does not isolate 2 sets of effects for its baseline projections, but both were incorporated in the May 2022 baseline. CBO. Honorable Jason Smith. I think so.
You
this
see,
is
your
like
CFRP
halfway.
was leaving out.
This
was
is
leaving
this
out
is,
a lot.
I don't think you're comprehending what this is saying. They're casting doubt on what this thing is saying, is trying to say, in whole. Do you understand what I just read to you?
I have read it.
I don't think you have. What? This is dude. He's literally saying that this is not necessarily true.
Oh, I wish I had a computer right in front of me right now.
I wish you did too. Item 2, your letter, internal revenue source, affordability of the employer. Also, oh my God, I can go into this too. Affordability of employer coverage for family members and employees, April 7th, 8/7, blah, 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 blah. Changes calculated used to determine whether an employment-based insurance plan is affordable. For the purposes of determining eligibility for the market subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, the current calculation, which creates what is sometimes called the family glitch, leaves some families ineligible for subsidies. Wouldn't that reduce the cost to the federal government? CBO and the staff of the Joint Committee on Taxation estimate that the finalized the regulation would increase the deficit by $34 billion over 2023-2032 period. That increase is a result of an increase on premium tax credits for people newly receiving them, slightly offset by an increase in revenue collected from people no longer receiving tax exclusion for employment-based coverage. That estimate will be described in further detail in the report CBO expects to release later this month. Although the May 2022 baseline generally incorporates the effects of executive actions through April 8th, it was not possible to estimate the cost of that action before the baseline was completed. The two actions deal, so like what they're saying is, when was this released?
This was a couple years ago.
Yeah, but like the date that they're saying the baseline has changed, we have those changes now. And the CRFB has continued to update since then. You've seen the CRFB, the debt 10-year Biden versus Trump. This has been updated consistently. This is largely painting the picture for me. This is what Republicans usually do. Since Republicans, besides Trump, usually don't ever increase taxes, this is how they spend, this is how they bring in money. And then Trump figured out this magic thing called tariffs that confused the fuck out of you guys and not realize that it's an actual tax. And it's taxing the absolute fuck out of Americans in the middle class and the lower class. This is how Biden spent money. This is how he brought in money. Biden brought in a lot more money and spent a lot less.
I can't see it.
I feel it's the subject of the president is sleeping. Conclusion, next president's term, sitting with fiscal challenges, why performance is not necessarily indicative of future actions, help examine the fiscal performance of the president's term in office. I just got something from Phil. Jody Arrington's stance, our country is at a historic inflection point. Oh, gosh. Thank you, Phil. Biden printed money. Guys, the Trump administration printed M2. Do you know what M2 is, Bo?
I do not.
Okay. M1 is physical currency. M2 includes all of that, also bonds, etc. So when you talk about the increase of the supply of money introduced into the economy, we'll look at Trump, who appointed Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, who approved $5 trillion printing. So in 2017, we're roughly at $13 trillion of M2 money supply. And by 2019, we were at 19 trillion. 19.
Now, would that involve the 10-year and the 2-year maturities?
Yes.
It would?
Yeah.
So, with that being said...
So Trump increased the money supply under his term. At 2021 January, we're at 19.6 trillion. And when Biden left, we did kind of one of these, where we peaked at 21 trillion and went back down to 20 trillion. And it was like 25 trillion was when Biden exited office. Who printed more money? It was Trump.
Hold on. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm trying to find the graph here. It's hard to see on my phone.
Just type M2 Fred.
No, I'm looking for a certain thing on my phone that I already have.
There it is. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, do you see that decline?
Yeah,
hold on.
That's good, right?
If it drops below zero, it's not. If it goes into negatives, it's not. Because a recession usually follows after. I'm trying to find the graph that puts it in a little better terms.
Are you talking about
Hold
10-year
on, hold on.
twos? Are you talking about
Yep.
10-2s?
Yep.
You're not going to find anything special on that graph. I already looked.
I am. This green screen is so small on my phone. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I think this one's it. No, that ain't the right one. Sorry, I got a lot of pictures.
Yeah, there's also a lot of instability in the market right now. We want to talk about people selling
I'm
bonds.
pretty sure this is it.
People
Pretty sure
casting
it's
doubt
this
in the
one.
bond market right now. That's under Trump.
Pretty sure it's this
Japan
one.
quietly started selling like 5% of their bonds because they
I'm about
have like $1
guaranteed this is
trillion
the right one.
worth of U.S. bonds. They sold about 5% of them the U.S. dollar almost crashed because of it, because of Trump.
I'm pretty sure this is the right one. It is. Can you pull this graph up that I have up?
Okay.
Does that show the whole thing right up into 25?
Yep. No, well, maybe.
I can't see it on this side. The box on the one side is blocking it. But anyways, you see how them on the 10-2 treasury bonds, see how they drop below zero?
Uh-huh.
What immediately follows after that?
A recession?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me a piece of legislation that Biden introduced that did that?
Well, why did it drop below? Why did it go under? Why did it happen under the Biden administration?
Because of COVID, dude.
Really?
Yes.
They weren't trying to promote selling bonds?
I don't know. Isn't selling bonds good?
Yeah, it is. They didn't do it under the Biden administration. They did. They wouldn't have dropped like that.
Okay, or we were in a recession and we were in COVID and people
The
didn't have all this
maturities were going negative.
People didn't have the expendable income to just go buy a bunch of bonds.
Well, you just said Biden sold a lot of them.
I did not
just
say he
contradicted
sold
yourself.
a lot of them. What did I say?
You just said the bonds in that market went up under Biden. You just said that. Turns out it didn't.
I just had a transaction. I don't know. I think we're talking about nothing. Biden did nothing but good things for the economy. Nothing but things that made jobs, infrastructure, Chips and Science Act, Inflation Reduction Act. All of these things were good. You have no criticisms of anything. You just have these abstract ideas about how Biden somehow messed up the economy and that COVID doesn't exist. COVID came and wrecked the world economy, and Biden gave us the softest landing in the world.
And COVID didn't wreck a lot of Trump's numbers?
I'm not saying it didn't.
Like the unemployment rate that you guys say was so bad? The job losses, like you said, was so bad?
I think
What
Trump,
was inflation at when Biden took office?
This is silly. This is a silly thing for you
I
to
know,
say
but
because
what was that?
inflation lags. It was like 1.9.
There we go. Okay. Glad you know that.
This is a silly metric.
But
This is a silly thing for you to
just
say.
A minute ago, you said Biden sold a mass amount of bonds.
I did not say that.
Pretty sure you did.
No,
and
I did
this
not.
says otherwise. But anyways, I'll let you have the rest of your day.
All right.
All right, man.
Go on, get.
Later, bud.
I did not say that. Trump had literally, as president, his first term, he literally just had to do nothing. Like there was nothing he was forced to do to show how good of a leader or how effective of a president he had to be. All he had to do was not fuck up. If he would just golfed the whole time and COVID never happened, maybe this would have turned out better. But the first actual issue Trump was forced to face was COVID, and he fucking it was a complete disaster. He came out, he started doubting science and medicine, telling people to inject things to shine lights on their skin. It showed how absolutely profoundly stupid he was. And he made everybody in the administration go, what the fuck? And that's why he had a 94% turnover. And when he was forced to make decisions like, hey, we should shut down the economy a little bit so that people don't fucking die, he goes, no, I care more about my numbers than people's lives. I want our economy to thrive and for people to spread a disease than for people to save their own lives. That's what he did. And then he undermined the vaccine. Even though he did Project Warp Speed, he was like, you know what? I don't want to talk about how effective the vaccine is because my constituents don't like it. Trump's current approval rating is horrendous. Worse than ever. I was so convinced people actually did die. People actually did die. Hundreds of people die. No. There's no science that says that the schmaxine was bad. There's still no science. There's no country that have turned their back on it. There's nothing but deep, disgusting pockets of the internet that you guys thrive in spreading misinformation. That's it. There's no body of science that says it's bad, disproven it, say it's ineffective. All things point to the fact that it's effective, and you guys still have tinfoil hats on. That's the truth. It saved lives. Republicans died at a 15% higher rate than Democrats in this country because of the misinformation spread in regards to that. That's a fact. I don't think winning an election makes any of you correct. I think a lot of people on our side ended up not voting because they were they were protesting voting because of Palestine, Israel. People forget his mismanagement of it. Yeah, I agree. They look at their vote. I know they just looked at. Yeah, well, yes, people can look at their registration when they die. Trump won the election based on lies and false promises. That's absolutely true. Trump said he had no idea what Project 2025 is. Now he's speed running it. Trump said he was going to reduce prices, and now he's threatening Walmart to stop increasing their prices because of his tariffs. So he's increasing prices day one. Trump said that he could stop the wars in 1 day. Now he's saying, well, that's not likely. Come on. You guys know I was lying, right? And then he spread all this misinformation about FEMA and how it was Joe Biden's fault that he was only given $750. Now Trump's coming out and saying you get no dollars and you'll like it and you're going to cope and you're going to say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. He has refused 3 states now FEMA. Wonder how hurricane season's going to go. I can't wait. I can't wait. I hope it happens right before midterms. I can't wait. I hope everybody's safe and doesn't get hurt, but I can't fucking wait. I can't wait for Trump to tell Florida no FEMA money, for him to tell South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia no FEMA money. Sorry. Texas maybe. Mississippi, Louisiana, no FEMA money. Suck it up. I gave all my rich friends your tax dollars. You don't get any. Sorry. Yeah, I hope that at least please fuck up Mar-a-Lago. Anyway, chat, we're running low on viewership. I'm gonna take a little bit of break. I'm gonna eat, and then I'll come back and I'll go live again. Hopefully we get some more viewership. Don't forget to give me a follow if you enjoy these debates. I will see y'all. Give me like 30 minutes or an hour. I love you guys. Peace out.